All right, let's do this. Good afternoon, everyone. An unusually early stream because I'm taking the week off. I took a week-long break to enjoy summer, which means I don't have to stream at night. And my good friend Devin Nash is on. He's over on his stream. Zyroth, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that very much. NBA Hitch, good to see you. Awesome, good to see you. Well, you know, I'm taking the week off Ethan style, which means I spent the last 4 days in the mountains and then this morning working. And I think all of you basically know Devin, but if you don't, Devin Nash is a frequent co-streaming partner of mine. And we chat about all kinds of stuff. Devin ran Counterlogic Gaming. He's now Chief Marketing Officer at Nerd Fusion. And he's one of my good friends. We most recently did a fireworks stream together. So 4th of July, he came over. We blew up a lot of his followers' money. They donated about $800. My stepson, Jack, bought $800. What am I doing? I am sitting still, as you can tell. No, I'm all right, there we go. What do you think I'm doing? I'm sitting around. Did you come here to see an actual stream? Wow, you're demanding. Mr. Devin Nash.
Very funny. I'm going to enjoy it. Hello?
Hello.
Oh my God, I'm only 22 minutes late.
That's like practically, yeah. That's amazing.
Dude, you're HD. You know why? Because I'm using shitty Discord calls lately for these. So I'm there with you right now.
That's right. And
yeah,
the only thing is, of course, we get you in green. We just get your nice green wall. We don't get your fancy background.
I don't know if I could duplicate cameras. I've never tried. I think it's time to try.
Oh, well, great. We can go into 20 minutes of tech support as
this could
wrong.
Maybe be the end of the of everything as we know it. This is going to shut down 2020. Okay, we're going to get...
in that case, you should definitely do it because I think there's plenty of people who would vote for shutting down 2020 if that's an option.
Option video. Okay, I know how to do this. So the question is, can I push two of my same source to the same thing?
I've never been able to do that. Like, it's just so much easier to have two cameras.
Oh, that's why we can't do it.
Because then I show up in your world.
Because you show up with the literal thing that they see. Yeah.
It's all right.
And wait, but what if I push the second button? Wait, no, it would be the same, wouldn't it? I wonder, you can't do it by scene. That's something I'll figure out at a time where I don't have the most interesting man on earth on the call.
No signal.
I'm just I have 4 inputs and I'm trying to remember the one that I did. Okay. So can I intro you?
Please.
Yes, you need an intro. We actually, I'm not wasting. Well, yeah, I am wasting his time, but it's fine. It's fine. All right. Listen. Okay, guys. All right. Listen up. All right. This is no ordinary guest. This is the legend, leader of I don't even know what you do. Like you do like all of commerce for Amazon and Twitch, right?
I run Twitch Prime as my main job. So the gaming pillar of Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime.
Is the worst intro I've ever done.
That's okay. Yeah. I'll finish it for you. I'll bring it home strong, Devin.
Yeah.
So I've worked at Amazon 15 years. I'm vice president of Twitch Prime. I spent 3 years working in Twitch itself, and there I ran the commerce systems and advertising systems. So I built bits, sub gifting, community gifting, and some other pieces of Twitch. At one point, I was acting CTO when we lost our CTO.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I ran. I didn't talk about it. I ran things like security.
Why not?
Well, because they were sensitive topics like network security and uptime and basically operational excellence, keeping the site up. And I didn't. It was safer not to talk about that.
The site actually, okay. I think from a technical perspective, Twitch is actually like one of the best platforms. and that's high praise because I'm normally not like that, But like I think that Twitch as a CDN is amazing. Like actually up all the time, very rarely down, almost never.
Yep.
So
Well,
if you guys missed it, look, sub gifting, he invented that. Okay.
yes, I pay all streamers. That's my job.
That's him. All right. Bits, he invented that.
Yep.
All of that. Everything that we do every day on this platform, I'm still finding shit that he invented. All right. Amazon
That's true.
Video.
Stuff like watch parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch
You invented watch parties?
Yeah. I've shown you my patent on it, haven't I? I patented watch parties 14 years ago. So
that's actually insane.
Yeah. It took that long to get it done. But I wrote the patent on watch parties 14 years ago. So that was a while. But yeah. So
sorry, I fixed it. I'm sorry, chat. That he invented watch parties. And you know what you also did was you invented Amazon Video, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the first engineering manager on what is now Prime Video,
which I use every day right now to watch a space show called The Expanse.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
It's very cool. However, one of the things that I have always wanted in like a space show is full-blown like fleet battles, because that's like, if you're gonna watch a space show, why not you have fleet battles?
Yeah, that definitely seems like the point.
And like The Expanse is not delivering. It's an amazing show, but man, like I want like full-blown like 50 on 50 like fleet battles, and I'm like,
yeah, one of the Star Trek movies tried it for like a minute, but
the Battle of Wolf 359, that's First Contact.
Yeah, the CGI, I guess, just kills them. It's the same reason I hear that so what's the whole story? Not the whole story, but like a huge part of Game of Thrones is the wolves. And the wolves were so hard to animate. Well, sure, House Stark, the wolf, and all the dire wolves. And then they basically just stopped showing them because animating them was such a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
They just like wrote them like, we can write this right out of our budget by writing it right out of the script. The fact that the hero family is based on the wolves, the hell with that.
Game of Thrones, I never watched anything but the last 3 episodes. And then I was like, damn, this is garbage. Everyone's like, no, you didn't watch episodes 1 through 6 or whatever, they all got really upset. Because my girlfriend was really into it.
It was a fun ride.
Yeah, that's what I
and man, it made HBO, like every network on earth benchmarks themselves now about, do they have a Game of Thrones? That's like their mental model. So
it's nice that, dude, we need more like fantasy sorcery type stuff. That's good. Though there wasn't that, like, the problem is we're always low magic. I want high magic. Like
I totally follow you.
The Witcher was good. It was pretty high magic. Witcher was high magic.
Amazon has licensed Lord of the Rings to do a TV series.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the problem is Lord of the Rings is low magic, right?
It is, and it isn't. It depends on like how you interpret the wizards, right?
Every interpretation I've ever seen does not look high magic to me.
But here's the thing: it's that magic matters in Lord of the Rings, right? When magic gets utilized, because the Ashtari can kind of like do almost anything. It's just a matter of like how they need to serve the thing they're doing at the time. And so like Gandalf like actually creating a shield against the Balrog, or like shining the light on the Orc army. This is the kind of things we talk about here.
I was just gonna say, we are totally delivering on the career talk, but we'll get there.
Yeah, that we definitely are. Okay, like one of the things to understand, I seriously think like Ethan is like, if not my best friend, like he's like top 2 like in the world for sure. I love this man.
Now I'm gonna get competitive. I'll have to find out who I'm in a scoring against here.
Oh yeah. It's like one of those things.
Assassins
I don't know.
In chat, everybody. This is where we bring out.
How have you been doing, man? Like how's your life? I saw you on 4th of July. We blew up some stuff.
Yeah, we did blow up some stuff. Courtesy of your community. That was super nice of them to fund blowing up their money.
It was also really fun. Yes, it was. I think everybody had a really good time stream was very positive. So it was Ethan's house chat on the 4th of July. If you watched the fireworks stream, that's where we were. We blew up. Well, yeah, he's a little bit. I still want more donations. So I'm not going to say. I'm going to say we contributed to tips. We contributed to a nice show, but yeah, Ethan's going to say we blew up your money, but.
Devin thinks that's bad. Like I don't know, chat. You can talk about it on either side. I think like people wanted to fund the show, right? And so they
did,
and to see fireworks in the sky, and we had some. God, we had fun. One of my friends that Devin knows was here. He had a drone. And so we had the drone up above the fireworks looking down on them so you could see them come up under it and blow under it. So very nicely high tech.
Yeah.
I want to bring the mic closer or turn up the gain or turn. All right. I'm getting.
Oh,
the
Twitch tech support.
Twitch. No. It's good. It's my mods. So they're on for me. I basically have you cranked because my last guest was soft. So
yeah, because they don't imagine not having a $500 mic with a wireless mixer and in a full studio to be able to talk to Mr. Ethan Evans.
Exactly. All right.
How did you never get a PhD out of all the stuff that you've got?
I was in a PhD program in robotics, and honestly, my office mate was in his 8th fucking year of PhD.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have it in me. And so I took a look around. I've told this story sometimes. I took a look around at PhD, and I was in robotics. And the smartest guy in robotics at that time ran the MIT AI lab. He's a guy named Rodney Brooks. And you can buy his invention if you would like it. The smartest guy, what he was able to build when I was coming out of grad school was version 1 of Roomba.
What? Really?
Yeah. His company is Roomba.
Have you seen, do you know a Twitch streamer named Michael Reeves?
No.
Okay. He's basically YouTube Tony Stark. All right. He gets like 16,000 viewers.
You've talked about this. The guy who builds weird robots to do crazy shit.
That's
just 'cause
right.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So one of the things he did was he made a Roomba that screams every time it hits something. So he got the voices of various like Twitch influencers like Lily Pichu and like people like that.
Right.
And every single time that it hits something, it yells. It's amazing. Yeah, he like put like a spear. He's like a robotics. People that do robotics are on another level. They understand things about the world that few people.
That was the other reason I left, by the way. I was looking around. Like one of my peers is the one who ran the. He left Carnegie Mellon where I was and went to Stanford, and there he built the self-driving car that won the DARPA X Prize.
Jesus.
And yeah, so I was looking at this guy, and I'm like, oh, well, I've told this story, I think. Basically, when I was in robotics, there were 2 types of jobs. You either work for NASA and you put robots on Mars, the cool job, or you went to Detroit and you programmed robotic arms to weld cars together. And I took an honest look at it and was like, fuck, I'm the car welding guy. Because people like this guy who went to Stanford are going to get the like robots on Mars job. And I'm going to be left like, okay, here I am in Chrysler in Detroit living on 8 Mile.
God
okay,
damn.
Maybe not that bad.
Yeah, I think it'd be a little bit better. Dude, I feel like the robots we've gotten on Mars so far, I know that it's like really hard to do, but they're so like disappointing. They're just like these cars. They're like, and then they just kind of like stop, and then they break, and then they just shut down. And it's kind of like, why don't we like put a mech on that thing, walking around?
They're designed totally around reliability, right? So they have no risks taking, no speed, because it costs so effing much to get them there.
Yeah.
That's why they go like half a mile an hour top speed. Is they're like, oh my God, something could go wrong.
I feel like I'm really underplaying. Like there's some NASA person in chat that's like, God damn it, you don't understand anything. It's like, so there probably is a NASA person in your chat.
Yeah.
Ethan's community is like all like 8 heads. It's all like
you hear that? Listen to this praise for you all here.
It's all
8
like
heads.
Everyone in the chat is like, hi, I'm like the CEO of Luna. Like I'm like the moon. like oh cool. I always meet like people in there that I actually found out I have a couple of those like types of people in my chat. like the head of like a really big brand messaged me the other day and was like, "Hi, I like watch your stream," and it always like makes me a little bit nervous because I'm mostly, especially now, I'm mostly shit posting. I need to add your. I actually deleted every command in my chat. I need to add your on accident because there's if I right click, there's remove is right next to remove all.
Oh.
And there's no confirmation.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm gonna add you back right now.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
It's been a long time since I've actually, I mean, we've done a couple streams together, but just with me showing up on your screen when we did the protest in West Seattle, which was also cool.
That was cool. Yeah, man, we've been keeping to it. That's good. Yeah. I think that was an important thing to do.
I'm slowly turning Devin into an IRL streamer. That's my.
Actually, most of the IRL streams I've done have been with you.
Yeah, exactly my point.
And they've all been really good. Like they've all been super good, like kind of special streams.
Yeah. So I wish you the last 2 days I spent floating down rivers. So throwing inner tubes in the Yakima River and in I think it's the Wenatchee that runs through Leavenworth. So those would be good IRL streams. Like
Did you take the what do they call it? The car.
The new van? Yes.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
Did you stay overnight?
I did. Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's actually
I bought
hog.
My wife and I bought a Winnebago Travato, which is it's technically a van. It's built off a Ram ProMaster van body, which fits all these. America is the land of loopholes. So since it's built off a van, it's not technically an RV, which means you can like park at places that say no RV. And when your neighbor's like, "Our covenants say no RVs in the neighborhood," you're like, "This is my van."
Well, actually, it's a van.
Well, that's America. Be ready to lawyer up at any second.
Good advice. Yeah. But
sad but true.
I'm of the opinion that was a very good purchase for you, knowing how much you love the outdoors. I think that was, and you could doing some cool stuff. I mean, you drive, dude. I don't go like on a 2-hour drive. Like I drive a total of 2 hours in like maybe 6 months. The only time I've driven in the last 4 months was to go to Hello Robin, the downtown cookie store in Seattle. Have you ever had the cookies at Hello Robin?
But I'm interested.
Yeah, you fucked up. This is the best cookies I've ever had in my life. That's the only time I've driven anywhere.
Nice.
And then my girlfriend drove me
to our house, right? Did she drive down here?
She did, yeah, because I don't have a license actually. Because I never got one when I came from Nevada. I just didn't do it. So I actually can't drive even if I want. Like I can drive, I can physically drive.
But you're not legal.
I'm not legally able to drive technically according to the law. Yeah.
The law.
Yeah.
Well,
so Chen drove us to you and Hello Robin. And then Chen drove me to Hello Robin to get a dozen cookies. And then I bought 3 bags of the bake yourself at home cookies.
Nice.
Yeah. And I made them last night. And that's where, and like, if they could deliver, they're just outside the range of delivery to Redmond, or I would be the world's fattest man. But they could probably deliver to your office.
That's yeah. Well, I've been there once for 2 hours in the last 4 months. So.
That's true. Yeah. That's so your whole office is shut down, basically.
You can go in if you want. So yeah, I work in Seattle at Amazon's headquarters, and I get a report every week of like what percentage of my team has gone into the office for any reason, and it's about 3%. So
that's insane.
So that's all, and most of them are just going in to like pick something up, or they left something at their desk, or they want to bring their chair home or whatever. But I do have a couple of people who are working in the office because they're just sick of being in their like small apartments and they don't have a good place to sit or whatever, right? They don't have, or they have kids or dogs or whatever all over them, so they want to get out.
For sure. Or they don't have a setup at home ideally to do it. You know what's crazy is if no one uses the office becomes a good place to work again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they have peace and quiet and all this room.
I never left the office because this office used to be a bunch of streamers here, but just gradually everyone kind of exodused. So now it's like Matt, myself, and our studio manager, Jack.
Yeah.
Did you see what I did? Did you see what we went skydiving with the U.S. Army?
Now I heard about this. I heard you
Yeah,
talking about it.
it was insane, man. It was actually
Were you a jumper? Did you go?
no, not that time.
Yeah.
So what they held me out of because of COVID. They won't allow anyone to tandem jump. So as
Oh,
soon
well, that makes
as
sense. Like,
but they promised that they would take me because I wanted to go so bad. The what I did do is I hung out of the plane, which was enough for me. That was
Nice.
like that was way more than enough. Because man, flying in a plane with the door open that's depressurized is way different than flying in like I have a new respect for like American Airlines does so much to comfort you, right? Like,
Sure.
oh, we're gonna take this turn, like, oh, here we go. Like, and the US Army's like, oh, fuck this turn, just and you're like, ah, you're just like pulling like Jesus. It was insane. It was a wild time. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, the total difference between what a plane can do and what we let them do.
Yeah.
I don't know if
really
you know
different.
this story. It's a Seattle story. There's a great story. You can go look it up. It's not. It's verified. When Boeing built the first jetliner, like now, like whatever, 60 years ago in the 60s, no one was sure if they wanted to buy a commercial jet. And the guy brought it to the first sea fair. Like the test pilot flew down from Boeing, and completely against everybody's approval, he didn't even ask. Do you know what a barrel roll is? Where you
Everyone in the gaming knows what that is because it's a very classic meme. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did 2 barrel rolls over the crowd in a jetliner, like in a 707.
Holy shit.
And
That's actually insane.
It's funny, when he landed, the FAA stripped his license and Boeing fired him
No.
because he, like right away. And then orders poured into Boeing like a river
Yeah.
because, this jet must be rock solid, right?
Yeah.
And then he got rehired like 2 days later. Like,
I was gonna say these days that would go on Twitter. That dude would get his job like
yeah,
back
like 0 to
immediately.
hero,
Yeah.
like right away. Yeah, but the corporate guys at first were super paranoid.
Yeah, because of the liability, like you're rolling over a plane. But
Well, and
yeah,
over top of a crowd, right? Because if it had
Oh my
augured in at
God.
that point,
Yeah.
like,
well,
he's
that's what I was gonna
done,
say.
right?
Is like history is decided by the outcome. It's like if he had actually crashed the plane in Seafair, that would have been the end of Boeing, right? Like, so like the fact that he got away with it post, everyone's like, okay, cool, just don't do that again.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's never been done again, right?
Air
But-
shows are one of the coolest things. My dad has always had an obsession with aviation and was a private pilot. And he just like absolutely loves aviation. And always from the time that I was like a wee lad, he would take me to military air shows. And if you haven't been to one of these, this is one of the coolest things. Like, there's like, it's like, and it's super K Kona. There's like flags and like the old rock and like everything you can imagine. But dude, they're so sick, and like I promise, like you will feel like an American. That we had one where an F-22, which is my favorite aircraft, right? This thing, it flew over the crowd, and then like there's like an announcer, and he has like a loudspeaker. Have you been to an air show, Ethan?
Yeah.
Okay, and like he has like a loudspeaker, and he's like, "Where is it? Find the F-22." And we're all looking around, and like we can't find it. And then this bitch just it descends like right there. We didn't even hear it, and it was right there. And I was like, "Ooh!" Like, oh man! Like if you're an enemy of that thing, you're just toast. You're just toast. There's nothing you can do. That thing, it was like it just literally just descended down. It was right there the whole time, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Oh my god! They do like helicopters, and they drop like special forces and shit. You just get really amped. It's fucking awesome. Oh man, I went to air shows all the time, almost every year when I was a kid, and like it's still a thing that if I'm like with my dad and we have time to go to an air show, we go together.
Yeah, and air power is one of those things now. I do think. I mean, I'm a total stats and figures geek for anything military, but
Yeah, same.
it has sort of taken some of the chivalry out because basically, if you're like some poor sucker on the ground or in a tank, you just wake up dead
you're
all of a
fucked.
sudden.
Yeah,
Like
if you
you're
see,
just
like,
driving along like, oh, I have a tank, and then you blow up and you never saw anything, you never heard anything. It's just like
just done.
Yeah, because the guy who killed you was like 12 miles away,
And then
playing a video
AC-130.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, with a fucking 120 millimeter gun. It's just like, thump.
yeah.
It's like it's over.
Uh,
It's ridiculous.
so yeah, it's I don't know. It same thing actually feels like when the special forces go up against regular people. It's like you don't even know you're in a fight. You just wake up dead. Like, oh, our building blew up. The place we were hiding. I stuck my head above the wall and it vaporized.
I think people don't actually respect how truly insane the special forces is. Like, it is actually ridiculous. Okay, like, okay, so like at one point, in the Gulf War, a team of 8 U.S. Army Green Berets took on 250 soldiers and won.
Yeah,
That's that. Like,
have you read this guy Marcus Luttrell? What is it? Lone Survivor.
yeah, I've heard that whole story.
And that's another one of those like
It's just bonkers. Like, they're so good, and like the SEALs, they have a kill ratio of 200 to 1. They've lost 46 people in combat-related deaths since World War II.
Yeah.
Including World War II.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, since I'm an old goat, I knew
insane.
I knew a SEAL from World War II who was an old man when I met him. But I knew, and his stories were crazy.
Yeah, those dudes are spooky, man.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care how old they are.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fight an 80-year-old Navy SEAL. I would lose.
No, probably.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he told a story about that because he eventually left the SEALs. He got disappointed with the way the Vietnam War was being run, so he left the Navy. And then he had to get a job, right? Like, he's a hardworking guy. He got a job, basically. His job was he went to New York and he worked on Wall Street for a computer company selling to the banks. And basically, his job was when something was broken to like take the bank president to lunch and keep them calm and happy while the
is that
real
crisis
people,
negotiation?
yeah,
Yeah,
while
that's
the
an
real
insane
people
job.
went and fixed the problem. His job was like project confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he tells this story. He and one of his coworkers, this is back when New York was very dangerous. They were walking home one night and a guy jumped him, like came out of an alley with a gun, like, give me your wallet.
Yeah.
And he said the next thing he remembered, his coworker was pulling him off the guy saying, you're going to kill him. Like when he saw the gun, even though he was probably my age at that point, like a 50-year-old retiree, threat, gun, act.
They
So,
did
and
have
of
you
course, the guy with the
Go ahead.
gun is not expecting anyone
No.
like, I have a gun, I'm in charge here. Next thing he knows, he's on his back getting his face mashed.
Have you ever seen Fight Science?
No.
Do you remember that old show on Discovery Channel? They did a thing where they walked a Navy SEAL through like an alleyway, and there was a guy waiting for him with a gun, and they did like with slow motion capture cameras. I wonder if anyone in chat has actually seen this episode. It's so cool. Like the dude like just takes the like he reaches for the gun, he takes it and hits the guy in the face, and they like slow it down and they figure out how fast it happened, and it was like 0.3 seconds. The dude just like boom, and it's just over. And you're like, it's funny too because in martial arts, like I've been in martial arts all my life,
Right.
and we were trained never to deal. Like if you get held up by a gun in traditional martial arts, you just like, what do you want? Like, okay, here's my phone, here's my wallet, here's everything, right? Because it's not worth the price. Because it's so. We used to have an exercise we would do is they would hold a gun at you, and then they would if you could disable them before they said bang, right? Then you would like win the exercise. It was really, really difficult. I almost never succeeded at doing it. Definitely not like reliably enough to like actually
gamble.
Yeah. Unless I'm
I'll
absolutely
gamble
sure they're going to kill
if
me.
they say bang, you're dead. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Unless I'm absolutely sure they're going to get me, then I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Your only two choices are, well, this guy's going to shoot anyway, so I might as well take my best chance. Like, he doesn't want my wallet. He's going into bad guy monologuing before he pops me. Like, and it's like, well, I guess I'll take mine.
Yeah, but if I was a SEAL, I'd be more sure.
Well, I'm sure even they don't, like, for them, that's still a failure scenario. Like,
True.
I have the drop on you. I have totally failed.
Yeah.
I now implement my failure mitigation protocol, which
That's
is still
true.
pretty good, but yeah.
I always remember that compared to we were in LA. You remember John? John, VP of Twitch, John.
Howell. Yeah.
Yeah, John Howell,
Yeah.
the guy that partnered me. He got held up at E3 in
Sketchy neighborhood.
yeah, and like nearby in LA, and he just bolted. Like he just ran the other direction until he got to his hotel, and like I think that's one of the best moves you can make, honestly, if you're in that situation.
Yeah, well, he was a soccer player, so he's fast and has endurance.
Yeah, I was surprised he was sober enough to know where he was going, but
well, that's what they call cold sober, right?
Yeah.
Like, suddenly there's a guy with a knife or a gun, and like shit gets focused real quick.
Yeah, hyper adrenaline. Yeah.
I was drunk until 2 seconds ago. Now I'm very
yeah, dude. LA's crazy. I spooky place.
Should we talk actual business?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can start getting into it. I had no plan for this show, so if you have a plan,
so you're doing great.
You're
right on.
I'm always doing great. Your chat's probably like, what the fuck is this? This guy's not a professional. Listen, I ran a company. Okay.
Yeah. You can self-intro now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Devin Nash, the Incredible, right? I'll start. Chief Marketing Officer of Nerd Fusion. Former, retired, bought out, sold it for a mint, kept a small portion for himself. CEO of Counterlogic Gaming.
Oh, shit. There we go. This is real.
And so he's five head in his own words, as well as those of others. And I will let you take it from there.
I really at this point do two things. Okay. I think I'm more of an I'm what's the Twitter say? The Twitter says entertainer on Twitch and YouTube, inspirational speaker. That's the two things. Okay. One of them is I talk a lot about what happens in the digital media space in terms of business and industry. And people are going to be like, really? Like, you haven't said anything about that this whole time. Like, I do. Like, that's like a thing that I do. Okay. But I do it in like an entertaining way. And maybe we'll get into that today because I wanted to talk to you more about content. We didn't really get the opportunity because 4th of July was a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I know that's something that you're really interested in. And like, but I talk a lot about digital media. I talk a lot about Twitch. I talk a lot about YouTube. I talk a lot about the marketing space and business and things like that. That's A. B, one of the things that I do is I interview very highly successful people or people that I think are just very interesting. Ethan being among the top class of those people. And we've done several interviews together, tons of content that's all on YouTube, and it's amazing stuff and gets tens of thousands of views and everything. And then that's actually all my part-time thing. And then my full-time thing is I run an agency called Nerd Fusion with my business partner, Matt. And what we do is we do creative solutions for brands. We actually work with Amazon, but over in Canada, and we and a bunch of other people. And we do brand solutions. Like, so we build custom campaigns for them, advertising, things like that. And we also do talent. So we take care of some of the top talent on Twitch and YouTube, and we have a great time doing it.
You have a lot of Mixer talent.
We're building ourselves out there, definitely. I think that platform's on the up and up. You know, it's got nowhere to go, but up, but somewhere. Yeah. So that's what I do. Yeah. So I basically do two things. So I stream part time, and then the agency with my business partner Matt. That's like my main jam, which is going great. It's super amount of fun. That's where I am right now, in the studio. It's a huge amount of fun, and I get to do really cool shit, like fucking go up in airplanes with the U.S. Army and shit. So yeah.
What were you in? Were you like in a?
Was it a converted bombardier? They sold us on the C-130, but everything changes with the Army.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say the C-130 would have been the way to go.
I agree, but the thing was that this was a custom one for the Golden Knights. It was branded. It had like all of the whole thing was like set up for them. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
It's probably a lot the hell cheaper to fly because the C-130 has got to be a beast.
I would think so. That's what they were trying to get. Apparently, we're gonna do like the whole thing as soon as like they clear like COVID, but COVID's getting worse in Washington.
Yeah, well,
and everywhere.
America.
Yeah. So, but
although I will say, apparently the commander-in-chief today tweeted that masks are patriotic. So
we're moving forward. That's good. That's good. But yeah, so Ethan and I have done a lot of talks about career building and things like that. I know that one of the impetuses, that's a good word, for this stream was to kind of talk about the state of things and like career development, because we have a lot of people that are leaving college, and right now I think like they've graduated now, and they're trying to figure out what the hell to do. And a lot of people that are in like a very unique job scenario, given that COVID has shut down a lot of in-person opportunity. So I know of no better person to ping about this than Mr. Evans.
Yeah, it's a lot of people have, I mean, record unemployment, right? Until 12 weeks ago, new unemployment claims in the U.S. had never been more than 300,000 in 1 week. Like that was considered a record. And then we had week after week after week after week of 1 million plus. You know, just like if you're not 1 million now, you're not even having unemployment claims. It's like we totally reset the bar. And so the point of that is tons of people without jobs. Somebody from your community actually, when you said you were doing a stream, reached out to me just before the stream today asking, you know, he's got like a contract job, and he was asking, his company doesn't have the money to bring him on full time. So he was saying, should he look for a different job or just be grateful to have the contract job? So those are the type questions I think we can help with, right? That's like what's on people's minds.
I think so. We're gonna do a little bit of Q&A today too, I'm sure. A little bit of chat interaction. I mean, I guess to set the stage, I don't see many other outcomes than like, and like maybe I think one thing that's really cool about when Ethan and I talk is that we come from very different worlds. Like I've built my own businesses since I was 16, and always kind of envied the like Shadowrun-esque like corporate like
I do not speak for Twitch or Amazon.
Yeah, he doesn't. He really doesn't. Yeah, but like
not when I'm here.
But he's lived the life. Like he knows enough about big business to talk big business. So if there are job opportunities with big business, that's his shit, and that's what I think we might talk about. Because with me, when I look at this problem, right, if it says if you're a hammer, all you see is nails. Is a really good like quote. And
Yep.
when I look at this problem, the only answer that I see is freelance work.
Start
right?
your own business.
Well,
Yeah.
But I think start your own business is dramatic. I think the problem with start your own business is you start thinking about like, well, I need a product and services and overhead expense. And like what I mean is like go to a thrift store, buy some things, take a picture of them with your phone, go to eBay and sell those things. Right? Like market arbitrage, like do very simple things that can start getting you income immediately. That's how I think about this problem and like how to start solving it. Because that's what I would do. Like if you just like drop me in the center of Detroit and was like, you've got no money, what do? I would just do that, right? I would just start buying things and then selling them for higher prices.
Yeah, well, true basic commerce. Buy low, sell high. And like practice that on a very basic level.
Yeah,
What's a simple
like
way
looking
without
for collector
much capital.
items and and also it teaches you a lot of really relevant skills like how to sell something, how to market something, how to picture something, and like I would literally do that until I had access to digital, and then I would sell things like Kindle books, because I think right now for freelance operatives, Kindle is like one of the best markets. And I would do things like audio, like I would do things like informational products, things like that. That's what I've known since I was 16. So I'm always very curious, like how you look at this. Like, do you think that getting a job, like a traditional job in a market that with like 20% unemployment is feasible? Should people be looking at that as a possible option?
Yeah. I can certainly speak to it. In that you're the expert on the entrepreneurial side. Not that I disagree with you that that's a very valid path. And the advantage of that path, it's available instantly. Like you can literally, whatever, it's 1 p.m. on the West Coast, you can be started on that by midnight, because you can spend from now to 6 at the thrift store and from 6 to 12 posting shit.
Yeah.
So the advantage of the stuff you're talking about is instant on. It's like Instapot for income.
Really quick aside, and I promise this is quick.
Sure.
You know what? You know what's fucking ridiculous? You know, I found out that the Instant Pot isn't actually instant. Made me very upset. It's actually it should really be called like a fairly average cooking pot. Because
wait, you're in marketing. Come on, dude. Their naming is perfect. Okay.
Right.
If they named it the relatively quicker pot, it would not have sold.
Okay, I'm good. That was amazing.
I'm Devin Nash, here to tell you today. I'm following the Sham Wow guy, but I'm here to talk about relatively quicker pot. It's not something you put under a grow light. No, it's something you use to make rice. Relatively quicker pot. Get it online.
Dude, I bought that Instant Pot because I thought it would be instant, and because my girlfriend made me, because she told me it was instant, and then she lied to me, and now it's definitely not. Those ribs took 2 hours in that thing. It has so many stages. Like it's like I have to pressurize, and it's like okay, I have to cook it, and I'm like okay, I have to depressurize, and then if you like depressurize it too fast, it blows up your house. Like, so anyway, I'm sorry.
It is true. No. It's true. Well, I used to say this. So I'm a geek, right? And I once said the best marketing name I ever heard was Ethernet, which is a word that means nothing. Became established though as the golden brand for how to connect things. And so later, Ethernet was slow. And the successor technology, they had the perfect name for. It came out and was called Fast Ethernet. Because how can you because Ethernet was 10 megabits a second, which now would seem really slow. And Fast Ethernet was 100. But you have this wildly popular product. And what can you do? You just add a modifier that says basically it's better. Fast Ethernet. Like what's the one problem with Ethernet? It's become slow. So just call it like Fast Ethernet. And that's the same thing with Instant Pot, because plenty of people sold pots. You can't like name it like Shiny Pot or Better Pot or but Instapot, like boom, billionaires.
Actually true. When you invent the next like wireless network, we'll call it Ethernet. Yeah.
Well,
That's
see,
shit.
at that time I was working on this is why I admire it. This is where I got my marketing lesson. My first job, I worked on a networking technology that competed with Fast Ethernet, and its lovely name, Asynchronous Transfer Mode.
AST?
ATM. Asynchronous Transfer Mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ATM. Oh, okay.
So it was an ATM switch. So the point is, when you're competing and you're trying to explain what the hell asynchronous transfer mode is, and the other guys are like Fast Ethernet, you know.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the education uptick is so much better.
Yeah, it's so huge.
Mm-hmm. Big part of stuff is naming things.
Yeah,
really important.
And they named it right. And asynchronous transfer mode, was technically correct. Like that's what it was. It was a horrible name.
Wasn't that the same thing with what was the competing thing for DVDs at the time?
Oh, that was Blu-ray and
Blu-ray was after DVDs. Blu-ray was better.
The real competition was VHS versus Beta.
Yeah.
Sony Betamax.
Yeah.
And Sony Betamax was theoretically a superior format. But
Sony Betamax sounds really bad. Like it doesn't explain anything about what it does.
Oh. Yeah. We have some old people in my chat too, or some very experienced. They're talking about another technology courtesy of IBM mainly called Token Ring, which I guess now they'd like put more pauses in that, right? It'd be like Token Ring. This is great.
What?
We all Token Ring, you sit in a ring and pass the joint. It's Token Ring. No, it's practically it's how it worked too.
I was very interested in the job. Okay, fine. Okay, all right.
We'll get back to it.
Jesus. Okay.
So the first thing we have to teach this person in your chat who's pissed off is this is how you and I make content. We have one teaser thing you want to hear, and we dribble it out over the course of 2 hours.
Oh, I know another guy that does that. He's a good friend of mine. That's okay, that's true. Yeah, we do that.
But we
we're
can
gonna
talk.
give you
So
everything. You're
I'm
gonna get
supposed to
everything.
talk about the job. Sorry, this guy wants me to talk about. So
It was
getting
me
a real
that
job.
it was me that brought up the instant
The
pot
Instant Pot.
because
You
I was
did. You
very
said it was a
upset that it's
short.
not actually instant. Yeah.
You said it was a short distraction, and look what
It
happened.
wasn't. Okay. All right, I won't fuck this up. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you drive
Well,
my wife crazy on this too. Like the
I
like,
do?
yeah, like Devin never lets you get to the point. It's just funny. She's observed that you and I love to go on tangents, whereas I can be very focused, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So why get an actual job, and can you get like a normal salaried paid job in corporate America? Which, look, corporations are hiring all the time because people move, people quit for family reasons, they quit for all sorts of reasons, and so there are vacancies even in bad times where you must replace critical people. So the jobs are there. Are they fewer than in good times when the companies are growing and nobody's getting laid off? Yes, but they are there. So it is possible to find a job. And then the reason to seek a corporate job, frankly, is not everyone has Devin's level of entrepreneurial get up and go. They don't have the imagination or energy or motivation to comb thrift marts and try and figure out what might be a find versus junk and deal with the fact that even if Devin did this, some of the stuff, I'm sure you'd admit, Devin, some of the stuff you'd buy would end up being misbuys that nobody wanted. And you'd either lose money or dumpster them because you'd buy shit that turns out like you thought it was going to be popular or you misidentified it or whatever. So it wouldn't be. The point is, not everybody has the intestinal fortitude to deal with that level of failure and like have their income hanging on how did I do at the thrift store today, or how did I do at the flea market, or how did I do as an Uber driver. They want more consistency. So corporate jobs, you trade very like that variable upside and learning curve. You trade for consistency of I come in 9 to 5 or whatever, or now I work virtually 9 to 5. And at the end of 2 weeks, I get a paycheck. And like, I don't have to do the buying and selling myself. I do some other function that I feel skilled at that is not buying or selling. So, I'm whatever it is. I'm a marketer. I'm a community manager. I'm an engineer. Engineers aren't always comfortable. And engineers, lawyers, finance people, they're not always comfortable being entrepreneurs. So that's the reason to get a corporate job, is you can have a specialty other than being the salesperson yourself, which doesn't fit everyone. And then that's one of the reasons. And then as for is it possible? Yeah, companies are hiring all the time. It's a matter of work, and I can certainly talk a lot about how to approach that work, but it is definitely possible. And in fact, my team welcomed we do welcome emails every Monday. And I got home yesterday and I had 3 new welcome emails for people who started my team this week. And that's about normal. I have about 3 people a week starting my team. So that's pretty normal. Those are brand new, people who didn't have jobs last week.
Do you personally go meet every one of
them? Not in current times. I send them a nice email.
Oh, that's cool.
But
hello, this is your overlord.
Yes.
Obey
me.
Yeah. It's when I was younger, I could not possibly envision a world where everyone wasn't entrepreneurs. And I think if I had to separate like the main advantage, it's that very often you do not have to take all of the burden of your work home with you when you are done being when you're done working in an office, because Amazon, like for example, or like any company really, it doesn't have to be Amazon, distributes you're getting trolled. Shut up, dumbass. Trolled. Yeah, okay, that's sorry.
Devin will burn you down.
Yeah, okay, so like the thing with like any company, right, is it distributes the risk. And one of the most stressful things for me is that like I like the companies that I run and the things that I do, including the stream, actually to some extent, is like more or less more like a grim reaper that sort of like follows me around, and like every second of the day I am thinking about it.
Yep.
Whereas with Ethan, if he goes inner tubing, when he gets back, Amazon will probably still be there. Like,
That's right.
Like, most likely. And there's a certain confidence to that that's really nice, that has given me the ability to respect people that work in more traditional positions. I just can't do it because if I ever get the feeling that someone like is like running me, I like get really ass detonated. And I like, as I always say, like if I worked at Amazon, I get fired in like 2 days. Because like, some PM would be like, well, and I'd be like, shut up, idiot. And then they'd be like, oh God. And then I'd be like, right. Like, but I'm not everyone, and there's like, but here's the thing. So like, cause we're kind of like going back and forth on the corporate thing. I think right now, a lot of what is missing is like cause I get emails. I don't know how many like of these you get, but I get a lot of these like where it's like, yo, I've been in like the job workforce, like applying on ZipRecruiter, applying on all these places, sitting in resumes for like a couple months. And it's just like a sense of kind of despondency. And if you sell something or you make a little bit of money on the side, I'm not talking about like being like the next Elon Musk and like sending rockets to Mars and shit. But if you do something like pretty simple, I think it can start bolstering your confidence while you may look for a more full-time position.
Yeah. Well, you definitely. So first, I say looking for a job, if you're out of work and you need a job, is a full-time job. So it is possible to productively spend 40 hours a week looking for work. And some people are going to be like, what do I do? What do I apply? Like I sent in 10 job applications. There's no more openings. Well, first, bullshit. But second, applying for jobs is a terrible strategy. Wait, what? You said get a job. You have to network. So, for example, one of the guys who started my team today, yesterday, I guess, I posted an ad on LinkedIn looking for people, and he contacted me, wasn't qualified for that role, but we hooked him up and he interviewed elsewhere. The point is, though, he came in through a networking lead. Like, he came to me and I passed him to someone else, and that person found him a role where he fit, and then they interviewed him, but he came in by reaching out. And everyone has to do that somewhere. The power of being introduced, the power of the network is so huge. And you and I have talked about this, but
we have. I think tactically speaking, a lot of people are like, okay, that's great. I understand that networking is something that I need to do. What the hell do I do? Now, to me, that translates right now in this ecosystem as like literally triple down on LinkedIn, send inquisitive messages to companies that you are interested in working for, but not in the sense of like, hi, I'm looking for a job, but in the sense of like, I'm looking to learn more about this industry and make a connection. If you have time for like a 30-minute call, I'm looking for some guidance. And I think the difference between that and like, because I'll tell you, like, the more forward facing you get as a person, the more people want things from you. And I am at a point now where I've had to I haven't even told Ethan this. I had to shut down all my Twitter DMs. I had to shut down all my Discord DMs. The only way to contact me now is via email. And luckily, like a lot of people, I think it's kind of scary for them to send emails. So I get like maybe only 20 or 30 a day. It's really nice. Because before I was getting over 100 DMs, and every single one of them was just like a very low effort. Hey man, you'd be surprised at the ones that are literally just asking for money. Just people just want funding. They're just like, hey, just pay for my stream. You can invest in my product. I'm going to be the next ninja. I'm going to be the next guy. Like tons of like unironic, like dozens, like people are going to be like really? Like that's happening? I have hundreds. I have hundreds of those.
Wow.
Lots of other people that are asking, hey, I want a job. Can I work for Nerd Fusion? Can I work as an intern? I'll work for free. Things like that. Lots of other people that are like, how do I grow my stream? And the trend here is that everybody wants something. They don't want to provide value. If you can find some way to provide value to someone in a LinkedIn message and a connection with the skill that you have. So, for example, almost all of the video editors that I've ever hired for any kind of position, they've sent me a video first. And they said, here's what I can do. You can use this on your YouTube channel if you want. And I'm like, that's sick. And then I look at it and I already have an example of it. I think that people really underestimate how much creativity goes in, like effort in an actual job posting goes in to making an outcome. And they assume that people aren't going to see it or aren't going to read it. But when I was hiring for the campaign manager job, I got this. I brought someone to interview immediately because she sent me this amazing like PowerPoint presentation with like pictures of her and like creative work she's done, like her like professional projects she's done with case studies, things like that. And I was like, dude, you got an interview because she took the time to customize it. And I think a lot of people,
that's why you can spend 40 hours or more. Like hunting for a job can be full time.
Because I think a lot of people, they just send a fucking blank, which is great. Like if you customize resumes like the ones that Ethan and I have told you to do on our YouTube channels, you're already ahead of the game. But I think a lot of people are afraid to put in that initial effort for no return, potential of no return. Oh, they're just going to throw out my app. Well, maybe, but you've got to put in that effort to stand out. Because if you want to be an anomaly, you got to act like one.
The thing I would say though is you are unusual to be getting that amount of traffic. Most people on their LinkedIn get 0 messages a month. Meaning like most regular people in corporate jobs, they get 0 messages a month or 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. So if you send them a message that has a legit question
or a value add,
but by a legit question, I mean something that's just honest, that's sincere. Mm-hmm. I see you work for Ford Motor Company as a designer. I've thought that would be cool. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about design at Ford? What, and then some question that you honestly care about, like what makes it great, or, why is the Ford Fusion the way it is, or whatever. They'll generally answer because they're not getting your burden. What they won't answer is something they don't feel they know how to do. Like, hey man, I see you work at Ford and I really need a job. Can you help me get a job at Ford? Well, Ford's like tens of thousands of people, or pick any company here, by the way, Procter and Gamble, pick any tech company or not. People don't know how to get you a job. That's a terrible question. They know how to get you.
They don't want the burden. They don't. Right. They don't want to like be responsible because like, what if you suck or whatever, right? Like it's like, yeah.
Well, they're willing to figure that that the interview process might sort out if you suck or not, but they're willing to get you a specific job. They're willing to try to refer you to a specific job relevant to what they do. So you have to do the work to ask someone after you've gotten to know them, to ask them about help getting a specific role that's relevant to them. I get the weirdest asks. Like I work on Twitch Prime, right? I work on gaming stuff, and I'll have people contact me and they're like, whatever. I live in Poughkeepsie and I really want a job as a warehouse manager. Can you connect me? And I try not to get mad or frustrated because I realize these folks don't understand that in a corporation of 1 million people, I know nothing about our warehouse network. Like
this is his maturity. I yell at people that do this to me all the time. Can you get me a job in esports? And I'm like, I don't know everyone in esports. Okay, I'm not just the esports guy. I just call esports and get you a job with esports. Stop asking. And they're like, holy shit, dude. Like,
it's the same thing, though. It's the same. You're just reacting. You're reacting Devin style to the same problem.
I get very upset.
Because people are expecting this magic, and they don't want to do any of the work.
That's the real thing that gets. See, that's why I don't understand how you're so patient, because I know the underlying energy there. It's Jabba the Hutt. It's sloth energy, dude. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna just ask for a job, and then I'm gonna get a job, and then it's gonna be over. And it's like, no, you gotta put effort into your life. If you want something, you've got to take it. I can't just allow you to do this, even on principle, right? Like I don't know. That's like why I get upset. But like when I look at when I'm saying, look, like tactical stuff, I love tactical shit. Okay.
Yeah.
let's say right now I'm pulling up LinkedIn. I'm going to search for something like, well, you can actually see my search history. Look at this, right? My search history is Twitter gaming, project manager, Sony, PlayStation marketing, right? Let's say I want to find somebody at Facebook games. I just search Facebook games and see what pops up. Oh, weird. Global programs manager, game partnerships at Facebook. Board member, Facebook global director. That guy's probably too high level. Strategic partner manager, games at Facebook. Okay, right? And then I hit connect and I send them a nice message and say, this is like for my business, right? Like for what I'm doing, but like gives you an example of how I would do this. Connect. Hey, what's up? I run an agency, or I'm XYZ. I would love to connect. I think there's a lot of cool stuff we could do together. I've worked with Facebook before. Make a custom message, think it through. I send a message to, I don't know what, here's VP of head of gaming of Facebook. Didn't even know this person was there. Cool. Director of games partnerships, right? Strategic partnerships, games at Facebook, right? Games partnership. There's literally dozens of people. And by the way,
one of them will respond.
One of them will respond. Yeah.
One of them will respond.
And like,
probably
let's say
lots of them.
Your dream is to get a job at Facebook gaming. Well, you just got 15 connections and I showed you how to do it in 20 seconds. Right.
Yeah. And those people are not getting bombarded at the rate Devin describes on Discord.
No, nobody is. No, I don't. I'm convinced nobody's getting bombarded as hard as I am for this industry. Like,
and they're being, and they're hiring.
Yeah.
All of those people, like, I can't completely speak for Facebook, but I'm pretty damn sure they're hiring. Well, and so they have
Facebook
roles.
gaming is absolutely hiring,
and they will have more roles. And so if that's what you want to do, and you're vaguely qualified. And someone in my chat was asking, how do you transition from saying hello to asking about a job? It's the same way you transition in any conversation from one topic to another. You give it a little time and you say, thank you so much for telling me about, I was using this example of Ford. Thank you for telling me about design at Ford. I am interested in Ford. You can even two-step it. And you can say, if I sent you a role, do you think you could take a few seconds and tell me if I fit, or take a few seconds and introduce me to the hiring manager?
That's big dick energy.
Like, and you make it, by the way, you make it a small ask. Like, could you take a few seconds? And people don't want to think of themselves as unhelpful jerks. They don't. Nobody wants that self-image, right? I say this a lot on my stream. Everyone writes a narrative in their head where they're the hero. And it's hard to write your own hero narrative if someone asks you for something really simple in a polite way and you're like, no, fuck you. So they're like, could you take a few seconds and just glance at my resume and see if it's at all a fit for a design role at your company? Just yes or no. Well, who can't take the time to say yes or no, right? And so a lot of people will. Some won't. Some will ghost you. But generally, people will get back to you.
And someone asked, like, how do you avoid coming off manipulative or over opportunistic in these messages? So I would say, right, this is like kind of crazy, but like, be an authentic person. In the sense that understand. Here's how I would describe it. Imagine that there are two bank accounts, okay, and there's like a certain amount of cash. Let's say $100 that flows between each one, okay. View every time you ask somebody for something as a withdrawal from that bank account.
Yep.
Every time that you add value to it, you add a little bit to that bank account. So add a little bit of value, ask them a question, get them interested in something, tell them an interesting story, provide them something, give them some kind of content, give them an interesting article, something like that, right? Like literally we're kind of teaching you right now how to make a friend. But actually, right? Like that's what we're thinking, right? It's you imagine this is all those deposits, and then when you've got like $79 in the bank account and you need to make a $30 withdrawal, not a big deal, right? Like what Ethan's telling you to do is put like $10 into the bank account and make like $1 withdrawal, which is like that short, hey, few second ask, like here's a roll. That's great advice, because like you have to view these things as authentic. Like one of the things that happens to me a lot, and I think my experience with this is useful because I'm getting it at such a volume that I see it from like every angle.
Yeah, you see every approach.
Yeah, a lot of people will do this. They'll be like, oh, Devin, like, God, man, this is such a great stream. I learn every day. I love it. Man, I'm getting so much out of it. I just want to send you a message that said like, thank you so much for like everything you do. And I'm like, and then I reply because it's like, that's a really nice message.
Yep.
So, wow, man, thank you very much for that message. Right. Like, that's like super cool. And then like, wouldn't you know, like, then like fucking like 3 days later, like, hey, by the way, I was just curious. Do you have any jobs? Do you have anything that I can have? Can you fund my business? And I'm like, no, you didn't. I got trapped like the Yu-Gi-Oh shit, dude. It's like, you've activated my trap card. Like, I'm like, oh man, I can't even, dude. Like every time I get baited and switched like this. And it's just, it's like, don't do that, right? Like you haven't built enough equity, which is the way to look at it. Like you haven't built enough of a foundation. It's like you're trying to live in the second floor of a house and you haven't even built like the foundation, right? Whereas there are people, by the way, that have gone through me and gotten opportunities in the gaming industry because I've forwarded them. I have that power, right? And like a good example of that is the lab. People that have come in and several people have graduated from it and they have gone on to go work at like other places or work with associated companies, things like that. Sure. Like, would I refer somebody to somebody at Twitch if I really thought that they had the chops and that they really could provide the value? I would do that. Right? It's not that I won't do that. It's just as most people are just not asking in the right way. And
so I'm
like
curious,
in my case, don't ask me at all. I hate you all.
Well, I get that you hate everybody, but you're scaring people in this sense. A lot of people will, if you give them a sincere compliment that shows that you've watched what they've done or you're familiar with their product or whatever, and then you ask, is there a way I could work on that? Or what, can you help me? I'd love to work on what you do. I've looked up this job. Do I fit? And again, that's doing a little extra work, but I want to specifically ask, what is an approach? You just talked about the approaches you don't like. If I actually want, and I'll disclaim this for you, I'm going to ask Devin to describe how to actually get his engagement and then disclaim for him that after he describes it, he's going to do it for none of you who are listening because he can't have that flood. But legit,
that's a great question.
How would I get your engagement as you now?
Yeah.
How do I transition from a cold intro?
Okay. I'm so glad for this question. This is the best question I've ever been asked. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I really truly believe that I am the wrong person to reach out to. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. And it's going to help. I'm trying to add value in that. Yeah. And that's because if you want to learn how to swim, everyone goes to Michael Phelps because he's the most forward-facing person, gold medalist, looks like a fish, like he's got everything. Okay, like so it's like okay, I want to learn to swim from that guy. And if you look at me, right, like I think I'm just okay, but like I am the number one
dick's
authority.
So big he needs two arms to get around it.
I am the number one authority on digital media and in the industry in this space. That's just the fact of it, right? But are there other people that are good at this who don't talk? There are a lot of people like that. How about every agent over at Loaded? How about every agent over at Adder, right? Like those guys are experts at this. They may even be better than I am in some areas, right? They're very good. I'm sure they think they're better. and the point being that how many tweets a day do you think that they get? Right? Probably very few. How many tweets a day do you think the CEO of Adder gets? Adder is a massive agency. Justin is a really, really knowledgeable person who I've talked to numerous times. I want to have him on the show. He's amazing, right? Probably never gets a tweet. CEO of Adder, right? Like huge agency, represents tons of streamers. Like that's the thing is that I think I am low-hanging fruit. And in that sense, people all be like, I want to work for Devin Nash because I'm the most out there, but I'm not the best, right? Well, I am the best in terms of like the industry stuff, but like I'm not necessarily the best choice for you. Now, to answer Ethan's question, if you did have to engage me because you're like very much in the tune of Ethan, I'm a very devout Buddhist, and there's an old story of like when you go to an ashram, you meet a Zen master, and you're like, I want to learn under you, and he says, I have nothing to teach you. Go away, right? And then you go, oh no, he's trying to game me. Like he does know something. I want to learn under you. And now I know you're trying to play me. And so I know you have something to teach. He goes, no, I really don't have anything to teach. I don't waste my time. Please leave. And then he's like, well, if you didn't have anything to teach, why would all these people with all these robes be sitting here meditating with you? And he's like, it's the same as you. I told them to fucking leave and they won't. So now I'm stuck here with them. Right. And so you don't believe him. You go through this entire thing. And then eventually you do all your meditation, do all your stuff, only to realize that he was right and there was nothing fun in the first place. Right. And in the same way, I like that. But like you think about how a Zen master accepts students, they accept people that are very devout. And in the same way, I would accept somebody that put an enormous amount of work into showing me a product or a service that they like. If somebody came to me and said, I've just done 3 well-edited YouTube videos that you could upload right now. They're highlight reels and talks with like, here's like a 10-minute summary of what you did with Ethan of all of your best moments together. You can go ahead and upload it. Here's an idea for the title, something like that. That person would immediately get on my radar. And every single one of those people that has sent me a serious, well-efforted message has gotten responded to at the very least. If it's not dog shit, most of them have gotten into an opportunity. That would be how you get in front of somebody like me. You provide an enormous amount of value up front with the caveat that you don't need to do that to be successful. You really don't.
So a couple of things I'd say there. First, what you've described is a situation where supply is high and demand is constrained or even zero. You don't need anything. You're not a hiring manager. You're not growing a company. So your motivation to engage people to see if they might be useful in your company is low. A corporate hiring manager is in a very different role. Second, your supply is extremely high, meaning people are coming to you all the time because you're a public figure. And the same is going to be true if you pick, trying to get Jeff Bezos' attention to use Amazon or trying to get, Sergey Brin's attention at Google or Zuckerberg. Oh, I'm just going to email Zuck and he's going to respond to me. It's not going to happen. Like I'm a VP at one of his competitors. And even if I could find his email address and I sent him one that said, hey, I'm ready to defect to Facebook, like talk to me, I'd probably get crickets.
It'd be hard. Yeah.
Right. Because he's got, whatever. He's got tons of supply and very low demand. But most people aren't in that situation. So going all the way back to what you said at the beginning, target the right person. Do not target. And that was the point. Someone here was like, oh, well, Michael Phelps isn't a swimming teacher. That's not the point. He could teach you more about swimming in 5 minutes
you'd ever know. And
that you'd ever know or could implement.
But so can the 7th gold medalist from 1985.
And the number 7 guy who never. Like the number 7 guy. And who never got any medal at all.
Yeah, and the same thing with like you don't need. I always remember my story of how I got partnered at Twitch. Right, was like I wandered up to the first purple shirt at PAX West and handed them a laminated business plan, and it happened to be John Howell. But at the time, John Howell wasn't head of partnerships; he was an AM.
Right.
And so like he solved my problem. It's like if you're looking for someone to solve you the problem of getting you a job or an opportunity, you do not need like the grand emperor of man to get that. You don't you
need someone who has a job or a connection to someone who has a job,
which is everybody. Yeah, exactly.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You're 1 degree from God. I'd love to know if you had all your friends and they actually every person they knew who could give you a job. There's probably like 1,000 jobs 2 links away from you. You to a friend to the person who can give you a job.
Yeah,
there's you probably have 1,000 jobs in that link right now. Even if you're a student, even if you're like, I don't know anybody, it's still true. Because
I feel like it's akin to going to Starbucks. The guy makes your coffee too hot, and you're like, get me Howard Hughes on the phone right now. Like you're just like you get me the CEO of Starbucks. Like I just can't.
So people are misinterpreting this as should I talk to the number 7 guy and work my way up? No, we're not talking about number 7 in line. We're saying the 7th best swimmer who finished way out of the medals behind Michael Phelps. He still got to the friggin' Olympics and knows so much more about swimming than you and I ever would. So the point is you don't need Jeff Bezos or Zuckerberg or fill in the blank CEO of whatever giant mega corporation.
I would even argue that they can't even help you as much as some of these other people could.
Correct. Because they're too far away.
Yeah.
You want someone who's close to what you need. And so actually, while going to an Olympian to swim better would be really cool, that's a waste of effort until you're already an excellent swimmer. Like going to the local instructor at the Y is plenty until you're a pretty good swimmer. Then sure, if you want to reach out to some Olympian and be like, hey, so I run Ironmans and like I'm trying to improve my swim leg, Ironman's this
Yeah.
race where you're like, Ironman, right, Devin?
Yeah, of course.
Ironman's
Yeah.
this race where you
I'm big
run
on
and
these.
ride a
Yeah.
bike and open ocean swim.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're like, yeah, I run Ironmans, but I'm trying to improve my time in the swim leg. Could I talk to you for 20 minutes on like, I'm not a good swimmer, as good of a swimmer as I need to be, and get some tips? Then people are like, oh, interesting. Right. And like worthy.
Which, by the way, if you think of something like a staircase, right? That's actually really interesting you bring that up, is like, what was Ethan's last example? What was the value there? You started with the why swim coach because you're building equity in that craft so that you can justify later to people with more expertise that you're valuable. And in the same way, you can do that with your career. I love this because I think it's the exact same thing. Like if you come to me and you go, hey, like I am a streamer with like 2 viewers and I'm really trying to grow and I'm going to be the next ninja. You got to believe me. And you've put in no effort. You've put in like, you have no, like,
you have one concurrent viewer.
Yeah. But if you message me and you're like, hi, like this is Soda, like, like I wanted to chat or something. I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, cause he's built the value, right? Like, or people that message me, they're like global directors of brands or whatever. Like they've put in the equity to be somewhere to show me that there is some way that I can of the demonstrable value. You have to realize that like a lot of these people at these levels are they have the potential to trade their time for thousands of dollars, right? And it's kind of spooky to talk to someone who truly wants nothing from you, right? I can say that like I know a lot of those people. I am one of those people. I really don't want anything from anyone. Like I'm good, like, and that's like, and like in that sense,
it reduces our sense of control. We all want leverage, right? And so we all think that someone's on the make and they need something from you. The most interesting people are those who don't need anything from you because then you can have a genuine interaction. It's this whole point. My chat kept asking, because I do want a job in this situation, I'm seeking a job. How do I seem genuine? Because I do want something. Like I'm not in that situation where I want nothing. I do want something. I want some sort of lead that will lead me to employment. Yet I still want to be genuine and honest with you. So I think it's just a matter of being, the watchwords are like transparent and authentic. You can be openly interested in what someone does and say, look, I'm not hiding anything here. Like I do need a job. I'm looking for a role. But like, I recently had a guest on my stream. I won't go into who, and it was a while ago. But the guest then contacted me later after being a great guest saying, hey, can you help me find a role? Like, can you help me check out if there's a role available in this other space? And of course I was, I'd already gotten tremendous value and we had a relationship. So if I could introduce them, it's easy. Because I know them and I feel like they've invested in me and I've invested in them. So for everyone in chat who's wondering out how to do this and scale it, one thing I'll say is if you're lucky enough to have a job now or not be starving right now, be building your network now. Don't wait. The worst thing you can do, and everyone who needs a job now is going to be like, well, that stream didn't help me. Well, it'll help you in your future, number one. And number two, Devin and I will talk to you about what to do if you're in the F situation of you need a job and you have no network. But you build a damn network before you need it.
Yep.
Like I have, because I have met a lot of people through my stream and I have a big professional network, I have several thousand people in my LinkedIn network.
Yeah, which is insane. And which is something that anyone can do too, by the way. Like,
yeah, it
like
wasn't
LinkedIn.
that hard.
Yeah. That gives me an idea. Sorry.
But now if I did need a job or I did need to find an expert or something, I have several thousand people to reach out to. So you go the other way, though, and you have no network at all, you can still start building it. And by reaching out to people, most people will connect. And a lot of people want to be helpful, and they're not as busy as Devin. So
yeah. Another really good value add here, another very tactical thing. I am a huge fan. If you have a particular expertise, which if you are looking for a job, I would hope that you do. If you don't, then you got to go like back to cross the border back to Ethan and I's videos about that. Post content on LinkedIn, article format content that has to do with your expertise and your take on it. This is a very good lead-in to send somebody a message like, hey, I wrote an article about, like, to use Ethan's previous example, it was like using Ford. You want to get a job at Ford. I wrote a really good article about how Ford is kind of taking dominance of the industry and how I think they're going to be successful in the next 5 years. Could you let me know what you think of it? Right. And that's a very good high value add in. So one of the things you can always do to increase your value as an expert in something is content. So and I'll give you a direct gaming example of this. At Riot Games, there's a role called shoutcasters. So for LCS, there's people that they shoutcast games. A lot of people know David Turley, was a friend of mine, Riot Freak, a bunch of other people that like cast games. And how do they get those jobs? Well, all of them, almost all of them, started by casting games on YouTube. And what they did was they would take an LCS game, they would mute it, and then they would just cast it. They would just talk about the game. And when Riot is interviewing people for that job, what they're actually doing is they are looking for examples of you casting those games. They will evaluate those based on based on those games. So one of the best things you can do to make yourself an expert on something is you just start doing content about it. And like, I'm not even bullshitting you on this. Like, you could not know what you're talking about pretty much, but because you're writing like well written and like everyone has a format, right? There's basically written, audio, and video. Like, you choose one. Like, you do podcasts, you can do video, you can do articles. Articles are really good, like particularly for like industry expertise. But if you like have expertise on something and you start producing even a little bit of content about it on Medium or wherever, that evergreen thing that you have can be added to your portfolio, can be an extra value add, can be a lead into a conversation. Like, do not underestimate the value of writing something about your expertise. I think that is something that is really, really, really good. And someone's saying right now, that's how I casted Hearthstone for Blizzard. Yeah, exactly. Will Scarlet. Yeah. So like 100%, like, let's say you want to be a caster. That's your dream job. Do 10 videos casting the game that you want to do, get good at it, and then be like, hey, here's like my portfolio. Like, so, and like how easy would it then be to go on LinkedIn, connect with somebody at Blizzard and be, what do you think of my shoutcasting? What can I improve? And then like, they're like, oh, like you could do like the X, Y, and Z. And then it's like, cool. And then do another video with all their suggestions implemented, go back to them, be like, I implemented all your suggestions. What did you think? And then they're like, damn, that was like really cool. Like you like implemented a lot of suggestions. And it's like, yeah, very awesome. And then like, you might inevitably get the question at that point. You might not even have to lead in. They'll be like, are you like looking for a role or something? Is there something that you want to do in this space? Like, why are you doing this? Right.
Yeah.
Like, they connect.
Correct.
Yeah, there it is.
If you get people hooked on, I mean, not everybody, I want to be clear, not everybody will ask you if you're looking. But
I'm surprised by the number of people that do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because good talent is hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
here's a step back.
Here's
a step back that people don't realize. I was just talking to somebody in my Discord about this earlier today. Bosses and corporations get viewed as like they don't want to hire anyone. They hate everyone. They have this. They're sitting on this huge pot of money, and their life is perfect, and their only goal in life is to give out the money to as few people as possible, and that includes hiring nobody.
Ethan's literally describing me to like a literal T. Oh my god.
Yeah, but you're the only one who's like this.
Yeah, it's true.
Because most
I would say, Devin, fuck you guys.
Most people in corporations, they're worried all the time. They're like worried about how are they going to keep their company running? How are they going to find better talent? How are they going to get all their work done? And who can help them with this? And so they're always scouting for, can I hire a better, like, I'm going to tell you about something you've never even heard of. At Amazon, we have this concept called an opportunistic hire, where we actually don't have a job open or in mind. But when we run across incredible people, we interview them anyway, and we talk about, should we make an opportunistic hire, which literally means we don't know what the hell we'd have this person do, but we need them at the company because they are so strong that we want to add them and we will find work for them. They're clearly the kind of person who's going to deliver value. Let's bring them in and find them a job. And this is real. And what would cause any company to hire someone they didn't even know what they were going to do? It's because they know they're going to have something to do, and they're looking for someone they believe can contribute at that level. So I just want to break this stereotype that managers are always like, or companies aren't hiring. most companies that are not going bankrupt, which some of them are now, are constantly looking for the right talent that can move their company up another notch. And when they see that talent, they will buy it. They'll secure it. They look at it as I am securing talent that will make my company stronger. And even Devin, if he saw, I'm going to bet, if he saw someone that he believed could make Nerd Fusion much better, like, wow, I met this person and they're amazing. Or
I'd instantly hire him. Yep.
yeah,
I have the money to do it. I could do it. Yeah.
And let's talk about as proof, how did you end up at Nerd Fusion? Is that not basically what Matt did? He reached out and saw available talent because you had left CLG, and he reached out and secured you, right?
Yeah, there was no role that was open or that he was looking for.
He knew you and saw possibilities and reached out.
Yeah.
And so basically, he went and bought talent and said, let's go figure out what your job will be. Like, I see how talented and passionate you are, and I know that you have a place here. Let's come in and we'll figure it out together. So now everybody else is like, oh, that sounds great. How do I get in it? The point I'm trying to make is companies want to hire. Everybody thinks companies don't want to hire. Like, all they do is say, no, resumes go into a black hole. That's true. They're not interested in hiring. Not at all true. They're desperate to hire. The thing is, they have two things in their head. I really want to hire talent. I'm really afraid I'm going to hire someone who's a mistake and I'm going to have to fire them. And that job sucks. And I know Devin has had to lay people off. I think he's also had to fire them for performance. I've had to do the same. Sitting down across from someone and saying, look, I'm sorry, it's not working out. Today's going to be your last day at fill in the blank, and I'm going to need your keys and your laptop because you don't work here anymore. That's a terrible conversation. And you get, so managers, people.
It's also a massive feeling of personal failure too.
Correct.
That's like the worst part of it.
Yeah. You chose poorly. You've wrecked that person's life. Like, they've bought a house and a car based on the fact they're going to have a salary, and now they're not. And you have to find another person. So anyway, the point of this is managers live in this dual fear. On the one hand, they must hire in order to get the work done and grow. On the other hand, if they've ever been burnt by having to let someone go, they're terrified. And so they're living in this desperate need to hire, desperate fear of failure. And so just understand, when you're talking to somebody about a job, they want to hire you, but they want proof that you're not the person they're going to have to fire. That's what they want. Now, they don't always get it, but that's what they want. They want low risk and high reward, which is the same thing you want in life, right? All the time, anything you do, you're thinking like, is this, I'm going to give my money to get a pizza. Is the pizza going to be worth more to me than the money? Or would I rather have more ramen noodles and more money? Like, that's the same. It's the same.
It's a value judgment.
Yeah. And so you're trying to be the pizza, not the ramen noodles. You're trying to be more valuable so that you get the money. Like that's what you're trying to do when you seek a job, is show that you can be valuable and low risk.
Ethan, do you feel like putting in a lot of extra effort to a resume, which I would say is a strategy that I've identified 100% works with like a small company like us, where like we will really look at like a resume or something that's done uniquely. Do you feel that putting a lot of extra effort into a resume or into a presentation or a cover letter or things like that makes a substantial difference in applying for companies that are larger? And if not, how do you translate that effort to show that you stand out to those larger companies?
Yep. So Devin, of course, is softballing me in return because he knows how I feel about this, because we've talked about it, and I appreciate that. First, have a competent resume. And both Devin and I have done streams on this. I do now a resume review at the beginning of almost every stream. I didn't do one today, but I've done lots of them. So you can find them all over my YouTube. But have a good resume. But resumes don't get you jobs. If you're lucky, resumes get you a phone call. What gets you a job, though, most, or gets you contact most, is actually reaching a person. So the first thing I've decided, and Devin, we haven't talked since I did this, I've decided I need to put more effort into teaching people how to have a good LinkedIn page than how to have a good resume.
That's so smart.
Because LinkedIn is where the networking happens.
Yeah.
Now, it is true, at the college level, sometimes resumes are still very important because it's what college hiring groups are set up to deal with. They're not set up to troll around LinkedIn. Once you're past entry level, though, LinkedIn is completely it. At college level, resume is more it. But what will set you apart is networking to a real human. Because here's the thing, at Devin's level, he gets your resume and your cover letter because you sent it to him. So he actually sees the cover letter and the project. At my level in a big corporation, I never see the cover letter. I can't remember the last time I saw a cover letter of any kind. I literally cannot remember.
That's so crazy to me. That's so insane.
Because all the stuff goes into recruiting, and they strip all that stuff off to their point as irrelevant fluff. Whether it is or not, that's how they think of it. And this is really important. We have a resume system. And that resume system now, because Amazon is big and has been at this for years, this is important, has millions of entries in it. Millions of resumes, millions of people we've talked to over the years. It does not have a bucket or a button for something other than the resume. Like when I go to visit Devin Nash as an applicant to Amazon, I can click a button to see his resume. There is no button for me to click to see other stuff Devin sent. So your stuff is literally going into a black hole from which it can never come back. You compare that to if you reach out to me across LinkedIn or otherwise make contact, you can send whatever you want. And so that's why networking is so important. And that's why finding a way into people where you can talk to them directly is so important, because then you can send in your portfolio or your proof of work or your article you wrote or your whatever. So
why do big corporations do that? Why do they like ignore cover letters? I don't understand that.
They're optimizing for efficiency. A resume is considered essential to hiring. Some people write a good cover letter. Some people don't. Most hiring managers don't read them because they're in a hurry. They just want to know the person's experience. And so they've optimized down to what is the minimum. And the minimum is I need to know your name and see your resume. And so it's just triage. Like cover letters, I don't know. It's like I get thank you notes from some candidates, but not all. And that's even executive candidates. So I've been interviewing for an open executive role. And there's a Twitch staff member in my chat saying, we go through lots of interviews. We have to streamline it, otherwise it'd be too much. And that's true.
I think the answer here then is if you're applying to a small to medium-sized company and you are reaching out to a hiring director that you can identify, then cover letters, resumes, creativity in that sense is a really good thing to do. Like that's something that I would pay attention to. I know a lot of other small business entrepreneurs would do. But then Ethan, the second part of the question is so you've identified that just sending in a resume, that effort, so basically the second part of that question was, how do you stand out? Because you can stand out in that way to small and medium-sized
resume, it's like shooting a gun into the ocean as a way of fishing. Sometimes you will hit a fish.
So do we circle back to
the way to stand out is okay. Let me try and make this a recipe. It's actually quite simple. It's simple to explain. It takes effort to implement. You want to work at a company. We'll call it Acme Inc., like Wile E. Coyote. Okay. You find a job there. You can go on LinkedIn and search people who work at Acme Inc. This is not hard. You can find all the people who work at Acme Inc. You can now sort through them to look for people whose job title sounds like the job you're doing, so that sound like they might be interested or might know something about it. Then you have to reach out to some of those people and say, hey, I saw on your website or in whatever, I saw this job. Can you just quickly tell me, is that your group or some other group, and give me a pointer? And most people will do that much. Not all, but most will be like, yeah, that's me, or no, that's somebody else. And the point is, you find your way to the group that actually the job is for, and then you communicate with those people. And here's another important point. Not everyone on LinkedIn will respond to you, but that doesn't mean they're not reading what you send. They may never respond, but I read a lot more on LinkedIn than I respond to. I'll even check you, Devin. Before you turned off all your DMs, were you tending to read more of them than you answered?
I read every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always would read them.
So, but even though they pissed you off and you replied to almost none of them because they were, whatever.
Self-serving. I really did read every single. I read all my input, like everything that you send to me. I read. Yeah. I just
here's
don't
the
respond
point.
Even on my Discord, even on my Discord that runs hundreds of messages, I almost catch every message. Yeah.
This stuff is getting read. It may not be getting a reply, but it's getting read. And so if you have something good to send, you can send it in with confidence that basically most people are compulsive inbox zero readers. And so they're going to read everything, if nothing else, to turn off the stupid red notification icon. Like they're like Pavlov's dog with the, or the rat in the cage with the little pellet dispenser. Yeah. They're going to click through every message to turn off the red light. And so you have a way to contact them. They may not reply to you, but you have a way to put your stuff in front of them. And so you should, and you can. And that level of communication gives you the chance to say, hey, I know you're very busy, but I have a portfolio relevant to this job, or I've done work that I think qualifies me for this role. Can you take a quick look? Or here is my resume and cover letter. And you can get it. You can bypass the system. Because yes, it is possible to get a job going in the front door of companies. It is. But it's so much better to go into an actual person. And like I said, I was hiring for an executive job, just working off the top of my head, and with no insult to my very highly compensated executive recruiters who are trying to find the person for me. Most of the leads I have come from me reaching out to peers in industry and saying, I'm hiring for this job. Who do you know?
Who do you know? Yeah.
And then they're sending me people and saying, I know John Smith. And John, would you like me to introduce you to John Smith? So we've been interviewing people mainly that have come from my professional network, not from the recruiting team. Now, that's not 100% true, but that's largely true. And these are professional recruiters, like some of the sharpest in the business. And even still, they can't keep up with the power of simple networking. It's not their fault.
Totally.
It's just...
This is the way humans work.
Networking is so much more powerful. Because if I want to hire somebody in games, I've had people on... one of the guys who makes games at Amazon is a guy named Lou Castle, who built the Command and Conquer series for Westwood Studios. He's shipped 140 some games in his career. If I need to find someone in games, I ask Lou.
Know him.
Or another guy who works at Amazon is a guy named John Smedley. John Smedley, also well known.
John Smedley works at Amazon?
Yeah.
Like Sony John Smedley?
Sony John Smedley.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
Right.
Like EverQuest.
Yeah, EverQuest John Smedley. Right.
Shit.
And so again, if I need to hire somebody in games, I can stick a recruiter on it, or I can email John and say, John, who do you know? And like my inbox fills up, right? And so networking. And recruiters, I mean, we have people, we pay a lot of money to find people for us, but they don't have those connections. And I'm not even that well connected comparatively in the gaming industry because I'm an engineer at heart. Sure, I'm connected, but like you go one or two levels out, they know everybody. So yeah. And
100%.
Devin, my moderator, Shadow Fox. Shadow Fox obviously talking about the fact she got her current job through networking.
Corsair.
Yeah, at Corsair. And
very authentically.
Super great approach. She wanted to be a community manager. So she reached out to the hiring manager, and she had this clever trick we agreed on. we had members of the community that were known to the Corsair hiring manager reach out to him and say, yeah, she's well connected in the community. I know her from blah, 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 which gave proof of connection, right? Like proof of, oh, this.
She was also like, I mean, hanging out like on it's like a constant presence thing, right? It's like always, again, like thinking of it like those bank accounts. I think that's like the analogy that I want to stick to, like those little deposits. She was always responding to Corsair's tweets. She was always like hitting up, like she was always at the parties. She would go to the conventions, and I would see her at the parties with Corsair, hanging out, talking with them. Like it was like a foregone conclusion that she would work with Corsair.
Yeah, and that's what you're aiming for, though, right? You're aiming for a foregone conclusion. Like that's exactly the trick.
Why wouldn't we hire you?
Yeah, like how can't we hire you? We must hire you.
Yeah, we're forced to.
Well, and what did she actually do, though? She reduced their risk. There are so many people testifying that suddenly it's low risk. Like, oh, she knows our products. She knows our company. She's known by people here. She's got all these references. So it's safe. And we both have higher trust in the upside because people have said good things about her, and lower fear in the downside. And so eventually that scale tips because you just keep driving up the upside and lowering the downside.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to, people will now complain, because everyone on Twitch complains, that all we did was talk about networking. Should we talk about any other aspect of career or, because you and I will always come back to networking.
I want to get some more tea real quick, and then you can entertain the...
All right. Here's what we'll do. We'll tag team. I will entertain the masses, and then I will go get a drink after we come back with tea.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Hang on one sec.
Send Devin down the hall. All right, everybody. We are in full possession of Devin's chat. So what I'll do is I have over in my world, we use an extension for Q&A. So while Devin's chair circles slowly and empty there, our first question we normally answer is, how has the hiring process been since most businesses are currently remote, specifically for junior developers, but in general as well? That question's easy to answer. First, all interviews are now remote. Like, companies don't fly you in because A, no flying, B, we're not in the office anyway, and C, no one wants to talk to you face to face in a small room. So the old way of interviewing is mostly gone, particularly for developers. Now, a company of Amazon's scale, we have a set of online tests that we use to do initial screening of entry-level developers, college grads. But most companies are still going to do a traditional interview. They're just going to do it all over phone or Zoom or some communication mechanism. So they're going to absolutely interview you, but remotely. And they're going to make an offer remotely, and they may have reload for you later. But if you want to move, but now we're not even relocating people. We may put an offer in and say you can relocate to Seattle later or whatever, but all 8,000, for example, of our interns, Amazon has about 8,000 interns this year. So we're a very big company, right? They're all virtual. None of them are there. And in fact, I think he's working right now because I'm taking the day off. But a common member of my community, DT Twitch Talk, is an intern for my team. And he's commonly here, but he's at work right now because he's working virtually. And, he was planning on coming to Seattle, and he was eager to meet us and to be a part of Twitch Prime. But unfortunately, it didn't make sense. Like, what are we going to do? Have him travel, etc. So I feel, by the way, it's really funny. So there are all these people watching Devin's stream right now. What they're seeing is an empty chair with me there. They like join in because they come into Devin's stream. What they see is an empty chair plus me, and they're like, Devin, wow, Devin's hair went really white and got kind of long and straight. So anyway, the point is, the hiring process really hasn't changed. It's still a series of interviews. You're just going to have to do it all virtually. So what else did people have as questions? There's another good question here. So I'll do the next one. It says, I got laid off 2 months ago. Technical role in tech. Okay, technical role in tech. Pretty clear that it's technical there. Finally went finally received an offer, but they want an answer immediately. Should I be thankful for an offer and accept, even though I have FOMO of more interesting roles in the pipeline? That all depends on how confident you are and how much you need a paycheck. You say you got laid off. I don't know. Can your savings hold up if it will take a couple more months? You can hold off an interview. So first, definitely be grateful, be happy. Second, if you have another interview in flight, you can hold things off, but not for long. You can say, I need a little time to talk about this. I need to talk to my wife, my beaver, my dog, my whatever. But you need... So Devin, I'm answering the question. I got a job offer, but I have fear of missing out if I take that one versus other stuff in the pipe. What should I do? And what I'm saying is basically, it depends on your situation. In other words, if the offer is a strong one, don't, take the bird in the hand. If the offer is a weak one and you can afford to pay your rent for a couple more months, feel free to hunt around. Feel free to see what else is out there. But, you should only do that if you can afford the time. You also can hold off an offer for a little bit. You can hold off the offer by saying, I need to consult my family, or I said the word beaver. That's
why are you idiots talking about beavers, dude? Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned the word. I said you can tell them you have to consult with your beaver, you have to consult with your dog.
Oh, that is because they think that consulting with a beaver means something very different.
Yeah, I know. Their minds are in the gutter.
I consult with a beaver every night, let me tell you.
Yes, with your double arm pole. Yes, I know. Okay. Devin has a very vivid imagination, and you're seeing it on screen right here.
Oh my God.
I wonder if your girlfriend can ban you from your own stream. It might happen any
You can
moment.
ban me from
your apartment.
Yeah. Or she can effectively ban me from my apartment enough that I don't want to be there. No.
Anyway, going back to the point,
she puts up with so much.
You can buy some time and say, look, you can even be truthful and say, look, I have another offer coming, and I want to make sure that I'm fully committed. I'm going to need a week to make a decision, but you can't stretch it out forever. And unfortunately, I'll be truthful, painfully so. I recently lost a candidate for that executive role I was talking about. We had a candidate that we liked and made an offer to. He was clear he had two offers, and in the end, he chose the other offer. And that happens. So you don't have to jump at the first job. At the same time, don't be foolish. If you have a good offer and it's something you're interested in doing, you'll always have fear of missing out. So anyway, that was a couple things we talked about while you were gone. So
nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing questions and answers today. So if you guys want to ask questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah.
This is a very rare opportunity to ask anything that you may wonder about things, because we can answer them. I lost a candidate to a beaver. Yeah, that's rough, man. Thank you for the awesome stream. Yeah. Questions here. Yeah. Either chat, Ethan's or mine.
Yeah. So I have other questions we can take, but I just did a couple. So if your chat has something you consider worthy, we can talk about that.
That's a reach.
All right. Here's a good one. What is the most, you'll like this one, Devin. What is the most annoying thing applicants do when applying for jobs? Bonus points for software engineering specific annoyances. But you're easily annoyed, Devin. So when people are looking for jobs, you are.
You think so?
Well, yeah, you say you are, even that you get tilted easily, and that
you're right.
That's true. You're the one who had to have people remind you not to rage in chat. So
command's deleted now.
Is it?
Yeah, it got deleted with the remove all commands, so it's gone. Yeah. So I'm free, buddy. I had to get 5 subs if I yell at someone specifically in chat.
Yeah.
But that command got deleted. So I'm up.
Tell me honestly though, what's the most annoying thing people do when they're looking for a job in your opinion?
God, there's so many annoying things.
Top 3.
I can't.
What
I mean,
what are
like,
the
I can't.
common ones though? Like the things you think people might not think of and they should avoid.
God. Oh my God. This is like, it's like, can you explain the universe in 2 sentences, dude? Like, I don't even know annoying things that applicants do. Um, I think actually this because I'm trying to answer in a way that also provides value and not just one that annoys me. I think one thing that a lot of people do that probably they don't think I notice is they copy and paste their resume, and this is very annoying. They
Or
don't
their
even
cover
take the
letter.
time. Yeah, they don't even take the time to put in like a custom objective, like write one sentence that would like actually show them that they're even remotely interested in this position. I think that's a really, really annoying thing that people do is they don't customize absolutely anything.
Being spammed.
Yeah.
No one wants the feeling as a hiring manager that you were worth no effort. Like
exactly.
that's a terrible feeling of like, we're all petty and vindictive at some level. And so if your message to me is, "Hey Devin, you're not worth much of my time," that's my immediate message back to you. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you either.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Ethan and I have a resume video that I'll go find. Build a resume to get any job. Ethan Evans. This is 2 hours. This is back when the COVID hit. And then another one, your resume sucks. The resume roast with the career expert Ethan Evans. You watch these 2 videos, I swear to God, you'll be better at writing resumes than fucking anybody, right? And in one of these videos, one part of it is looking at the objective section, because Ethan actually wrote a resume, if you remember this, for this. We both wrote resumes for this.
Yep.
And Ethan shows a resume that he wrote, and I show a resume that I wrote. And like literally this content is like S tier, bros, and it's right there for free. Like people will pay thousands of dollars for this shit. And we did this for you for free.
Yep.
We don't give a fuck. Because Ethan's Amazon Andy and I'm CEO Andy, so we don't care. So like, dude, all for free, no class, no course, no $500 thing you pay for. It's right there. So we show.
Tim Ferriss would be mad at us. We're not making all the free money by putting it.
Because we could make a lot of money doing this, believe me. Yeah. So what we're referring to is this objective right here, right? And I said, like, if I was applying for a job at CLG to contribute to counterlogic gaming by building a comprehensive organization-wide framework to develop the world's best competitive players, right? Like that would be like what I would write. And so I always tell the joke, Ethan, I don't even know if you've heard this story, where people, when they would apply for jobs with me at CLG, they would send me a message. And they would say like, "Oh, dear Devin, like it is my absolute passion to work with esports. Your team is my favorite team that I've ever been a part of, and I love it. Like I love every opportunity I could to work for you. I will work for anything. I will work for dirt. I will work in your basement. I will do anything." And then it's like, I can't wait to have an opportunity to join Team Liquid. And I'm like, son of a bitch, right?
So,
like,
yeah. They sent the same thing to Liquid and everybody else.
Yeah, and it's like you'd be surprised how often that actually happens. Where it's like,
someone in my chat was basically, I'm going to say this, I'm going to call them out and say, whining about how do you scale writing a custom objective, and it's like, because it's not about scale. It's at first, if you don't do it, you're going to make a mistake with cut and paste and shoot yourself in the head. And
that guy's my enemy. You're my enemy over there.
See, they're even annoying Devin. So his number one annoyance is not investing in a little bit of customization. Remember, I said earlier, you may not have been here, meaning whoever that was. Hunting a job is a 50-hour-a-week job of its own. If you're out of work, you don't have anything else to do, finding a new job is your job. You can absolutely research who the hiring manager is. And remember, 10 good job applications to a real person, well written through a networking connection, is worth 100, probably 1,000 spammy ones.
Listen to what he just said. It's so important. This whole idea of like, do you realize the question you're asking is literally, why can't I send 1,000 resumes out to every shit employer so I can get a job? Like, fuck you. Like, why do you think that you're so entitled to a job over the other like 5 bazillion applicants that you actually can do that? Like, how about putting some actual effort into the shit that you do, right? Like, yes, it's not scalable because like, here's the thing about getting a job, okay? You only need to hit once. The average amount of time that somebody is employed is 2.5 years in America now. So which is shorter than it used to be, but but that's still, it's 2.5 years of your life. Okay. So like, do you think you should put effort into something that you are going to do for 2.5 years of your life? Do you think that you should put some initial work into something you're going to like all this shit, all you Zoomers. Okay. Like your relationship with your girlfriend or wife, okay, is an enormous thing. And you're like, I swiped right on Tinder. Why is she not responding? You didn't put no effort into it. Okay. Like you didn't do anything. So it's like, that's your relationship, man. You're going to be there every day with that chick, right? Same thing with your job. You're going to be sitting in that chair in your box, okay, for the next 2.5 years on average. And you may be sitting there for the next 10 years. That's a massive part of your life. And you mean to tell me that it's like, why can't I copy paste my resume? Seriously. Like, you've got to put work in for things. There are things in your life that are going to be these like pivotal moments where like, if you go this direction, you will not go another direction. And that's what decision means, right? Deci means incision, right? Latin cut, deci, right? One way, single direction, right? Decision means you cut yourself off from all directions, literally what it means.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, like, for me, for example, that was esports. Deciding to not go back into esports at the time that I did and go into talent management was a very big decision. That was a decision that I made where I didn't go the other direction. And I'm glad I did. I made the right decision. I've made wrong decisions before. But the point is that I put a shitload of effort into thinking about that decision because the next 2 years of my life. So yes, you have to customize your resumes. You have to do everything possible. You have to build your network because these are years of your life. It's like if you're going to buy a mattress, you know, you should do a lot of research on it because you're going to sleep on that bed for like fucking 5 years every night. You're going to spend more time in that bed than you spend like in a lot of places. You should make it good, right? So yes, effort, of course, right? Like,
someone, it is frustrating how easily things get misinterpreted. So let me try and clarify. I said earlier I had not seen a cover letter in years. And I want to be, somebody said, well, then why should I write one? I do not see them because recruiters don't give them to me. So if you apply to a large corporate system, they go into a black hole. If you network to someone where you're emailing them or on LinkedIn or some other messaging system with them directly, you now have the chance to present that information directly. But what Devin was saying, which you also misinterpreted, was edit the objective line in your resume, which they can see. The point here is you want to customize, but you also have to customize your approach to reach a real person. And I know for those of you who are new at this and don't have large networks, you're like, but I don't know how to do that. I only know how to click the link on the website and upload my resume. Then click the link and upload your resume, but you're going to get very few results because thousands of other people just like you are doing the same thing. What we're coaching you is that you're much better off investing the effort to find a few people that you can reach for real and start a conversation with than thousands of spammy uploads. That's no different. Quality trumps quantity here. Spamming your resume to a lot of companies is unlikely to work. I know it feels good because you can do it really fast. And so you have this imagination that it's going to happen. But most of those resumes, you know, they're just going into some big blob. So
100%.
The purpose of custom communication is direct to individuals. When you can reach the individual who can make a decision, or it's a small company and you think that can be done. So and it's super powerful. So I would say, you know, this question that was asked, what are the most annoying things people do? there's interview behavior. For me, the annoying stuff is interview behavior, which is not answering the question you're asked.
Oh, especially the people, because you get those people that game the Amazon system. So they actually like read a fucking book about like how you guys do your interview process. And they're like, well, I was very prepared for this question. You see, there's exactly 547, 393 golf balls in the bus. So they're like, fuck, like, because there's like a way you do, your interviews.
People try and game systems, but they
Mhm.
don't listen. They don't make basic eye contact. They're late. Like they ghost an interview, and then they wonder, like, oh, can I reschedule? I was walking my dog, or like crazy shit.
Damn.
You gotta
imagine ghosting an interview with Ethan fucking Evans. Like, that's some fucking.
Well, hey, mistakes and time zone stuff happen, but people will be late. They will interrupt. They will not listen. They'll give some long rambling answer that begins with, well, when I was 3 years old,
Dude,
I want to start.
That's actually the worst.
Yeah. The interview that's like, you
Ever
ask them
since
like,
I was a boy, I
right.
always have joined this. My mother told me that I was going to be a successful child. And from there, I had my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Allen from 6th grade, who was going to teach me that I was going to be very successful. And it's just like, and he was like, just tell me. I had an interview like that because I'm hiring for 2 positions at N3F right now. I had an interview that was exactly like that, where like, because I don't know if I showed you my interview template. I need to do it sometime, but like there's a book called ALS Method for Hiring, and I just use the template from it, and I've always asked the same questions so I don't get like category biases. And they're very simple questions like, what are your career goals? Right, that's like the first question, and like, holy shit, this guy.
Yeah, that's it. Like, if somebody asks you what is your career goal, answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was saying people don't answer the question.
Yeah,
they start with, well, when I was 4, I realized I don't care, and now you're sinking. Right, you're either so in interviews. Most people make up their mind in the first couple minutes, and then they spend the rest of the time,
waiting. Oh man, what you just said is actually so important. It's like if you're on a date with a girl, it's the same thing, by the way. Like, she will decide if she's gonna fuck, like right that, like that 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Like, yeah, this guy's good or this guy's not, and like, you're wasting your time beyond that, dude. Like, it's the same with the interview, 100%. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
See, Devin, that's why Devin doesn't work in the corporate world, because he would answer the question with his opinions on male-female relations in an interview.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
I have seen people, it's not common, but I have seen people break into jail also with going into like taboo topics. They will verge into, like, your political opinions you're more than welcome to them, but in an interview is not the place. So anyway, but the rambling run on forever answer to the is probably my worst annoyance, because I'm like, I have other things to ask you, but now I just feel trapped in the room until I can leave.
Oh yeah, like they literally feel trapped. Yeah, I had a dude answer the "What are your careers goal?" question. It took him 7 minutes, and I was like.
That is no record. I hate to tell you, that is no record.
Well, you've done like thousands of these.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So you like, it was probably so bad. Oh my God.
Yeah. So look, if somebody asks you a question, I teach this all the time in an interview, super simple. Answer the question. And then if the question was at all unclear, or you're not sure, you feel like you have more to say, ask them, did I answer your question? Or would you mind if I added a little more to that? But get permission, get confirmation that you answered the question. And if you want to say more, say, would you mind if I added a little color to that? And even if they actually mind, they'll say yes and give you 30 more seconds. But remember that your goal in the interview is to give information to the other person, and more importantly, to give human confidence. Because, yeah, they're listening to the answers, but they're actually trying to figure out, can I trust this person, and do I want to sit next to them? Because the worst thing in the world is to hire someone you don't like working with. Like, it doesn't matter how good they are. If you don't like them, like, if you can't, I don't mean like they're your best friend and you want to hang out all the time, But if this person is good but annoys you every day because of the way they do their work or the way they talk or the way they whatever chew their Cheetos, that's part of your life every day. And working with someone who's driving you crazy is no fun. And so people are also trying to screen out, like, is this someone I can sit with? Is this someone that if they're in the cube next to me or I have to depend on them, I feel like I can rely on them? So it's human relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%. Yeah.
And yeah, I did make that point you really like, Devin, that statistically, the number one that people make up their decision right away, and then they spend the rest of the interview validating it to themselves. So the number 1 and 2 factors in getting a job are actually appearance and enthusiasm. Look like you could be a professional or could do the job. Like, this is not the place to wear your statement clothing. It's not the place to like open with, well, this is my partially done facial tattoo and I was planning to totally mask my face so I could look like I double up in horror movies. And, then don't be like, well, like super low energy. You have to project some enthusiasm for the job because no boss wants to hire somebody. If you seem like you're bored to death in the interview, how do I think you're going to be in the job? You're going to be like, drooling out your face. I don't want to hire that. And so ability is a factor. You want it. Everybody's like, no, ability should be the number 1 factor. The truth is, I try to make ability a factor. I try to fight the biases, but appearance and enthusiasm turn out statistically to be huge drivers. And so you can actually get a job basically by like wowing and energying your way into it. So.
I think a lot of what gets you successful interviews, like some of the most successful interviews that I've ever seen or coached people to have always been ones where the person who is being interviewed asks as many questions and shows their engagement as the person who's interviewing them. This is like a huge factor in like, this is like big energy. And a lot of the time, I will just make up for like how I dress or how I appear in sheer confidence. Right. And like, granted that like, that's not like the angle that everybody takes, but I think that like that kind of thing goes a really long way, where usually when I'm in an interview or I'm in a qualified, certainly when I'm in a sales call or anything, if I am talking more than the other person, I'm fucking up. Yeah. Because what matters is the feeling that you communicate afterward, right? And if that interviewer, like, they think like, oh man, like that guy really got me. He really understood me. Like he really like is like passionate about this. He asked me a lot of questions. Like my top candidates right now for the jobs that I'm positioning for, they've done that.
Yeah, and the only advice there I would give is don't take over the interview. In other words, there is a power dynamic, and the interviewer normally has an agenda and expects to be in control. So absolutely ask questions. Don't compete for the share of voice. Like good interviewers will hold time for you to ask questions, and they'll welcome them. There are some people, again, that they want to ask so many questions, you have to let them also figure out if you're qualified. And yeah, somebody in my chat says the art of conversation. Yes, you need to be a good conversationalist. And in fact, as you know, Devin, I let people vote on questions. The number 1 voted question in my stream right now is about, it basically says, from the talk, I feel like unless you're super outgoing or an extrovert, you can't get anything. I'm personally shy, and I always feel anxiety when reaching out to new people, despite the fact there's nothing to fear. What's your advice? Both you and I are relatively extroverted. We're Twitch streamers, for God's sake. It's a fairly extroverted job in a way, although we sit alone when we do it.
Man,
ironically.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I really see this a lot, and I think there's like a lot of value here. Everyone's like, well, I'm an introvert. I'm fucked. Like, it's like, okay, Ethan, how introverted am I? Actually,
you don't actually go anywhere. Like you rarely leave your house.
Ethan literally has to send the Amazon Special Forces to black bag me out of my basement playing EVE Online to get me to do anything, and even then I bitch at him the entire way. Okay, I'm like, okay, like, dude, like this whole like, oh, he's like,
he opened the stream. If you haven't been here the whole time because we've been going a while, he opened the stream by saying I'm one of his best friends. and yet like to actually get his time, I literally like I have to like, you know, get an old-fashioned harpoon gun and somehow get the harpoon into his flesh and like crank him out of his lair,
With
you
me
know.
screaming, meow, ah! Like it's like, and they're like there's like amazing adventures, by the way, too. Ethan's like, would you like to go on like a hike like across the mountains and pick berries and then inner tube down a river and then go to a lost city of gold and be served like exotic fruits from the most beautiful women of the Amazon? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, I got the spaceship, like it's really good. Like, it's like he's got these like amazing things, and it's like that's the thing, right? Like the value here is like the introverted extroverted tags. As soon as you assign yourself one of those tags, you're trapped. You've stuck yourself in it. The sentence "I'm introverted and so I can never do well in an interview" is like the most like self-limiting shit. I'll tell you, like it seems like I'm not. I'm extroverted as fuck because of the way that I present myself, and it's all trained. It's trained through improv classes. It's trained through comedy classes. It's trained through practice. It's trained through looking through my VODs and figuring this out. All of it is because as soon as I get off this fucking stream, I am going to take this shirt off, fucking sit a potato, 6 accounts, Eve Online, 3 monitors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it Eve this week? Because normally what I lose out to is he's like, I don't know, there's a new Path of Exile campaign. Like I'm not coming out for a week, and I'm like, all right, you know, because literally if I want to get Devin out of his lair, I need to like find my way between when something's happening in Eve and something's happening in Path of Exile, and like try and schedule this one time. You know, I have to talk to his girlfriend and be like, what gaming things are going on? Because I want to see Devin. Like, and it's funny because he comes out and he has all this fun and he's like, well, I need to do more with you. We're going to do more. And then it's like it leaks right out of his brain. It drains it. So Going back to actually helping people though,
I do love you, man. And
I know.
Almost all the fun I've had in the past year has been because of you. I want you to know that. I've literally, I remember our Mount Rainier, that was really fun. I really remember that fondly. So if it's any consolation, when you drag the goblin out. After
when you get the goblin out, well, it's
Yeah.
like when you detach it, it's finally free for a little while, but then
It's
I
like
have
the
to
one ring. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I get the ring off, but then it goes searching all over for the ring again. I like my manacles on. They keep me tight and warm. Yeah. But if you're an introvert, you do have to find some energy to be able to make contact. I'm sorry. You can find your own ways to do this. And I don't actually like cold calling people. I don't think Devin does either, like true cold calls. Basically very, very few people are that extroverted. But you have to find your way to get enough energy to reach out to people or to present well in a human context when you're interviewing. And plenty of people do it. You do not need to be loud. You do not need to be bubbly, but you need to be engaged and authentic and able to make eye contact.
Yeah.
And so it's the basics. And look, neither Devin or I are qualified. Well, Devin might be, I don't know, to be energy coaches, but you've got to find some way to engage the world. Like, I will admit, we cannot help you if you cannot or will not engage the world outside your house. We can't help you get a job because jobs happen through human contact. That's what kind of a job is you're being paid to work with some sort of other person to make something happen. And, you know, that you're going to have to be able to do that. So
100%. Yeah. Super good.
All right. So find your way though. And look, how often do you actually interview? Like, you can save up all your energy for that. And, you can go back to your Path of Exile or whatever cave after that and recharge in private for some time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on all the time, but in those critical moments, you have to be able to turn it on. And so what most true introverts do is they put out a lot of energy and then they go rest. But if you're putting out your energy not towards a job and you need a job, you need to stop the other places you're expending energy and spend your energy in the job context until you have a job.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And the general advice for energy building that I give, is you would be really. This is like such a meme, but like it's like the cliches or life is hidden behind the cliches type of thing. But working out, right? Like going on walks, going outside, like doing things like this, add a lot of energy to your life so that you can be able to like forward these things. And what Ethan said about recharging is like very true, which is I generally work really hard during the day and in the evening, and I really put a lot of time and equity in, and then I like genuinely allow myself to have that like Eve Online Path of Exile potato time, and I go all in, right? And that's like my recharge. Ethan is so cool because like society views his recharge as like he's like out in the mountains, like gaining energy from the forest spirits and stuff like that, like inner tubing down rivers and shit, like he did this weekend or something. Every time I call him, he's always like on some, but that's how he gets his energy. But the point
yep.
being that like he also takes that time, right? He's not like all in on like both Ethan and I, I'm sure, like have so many aspirations that we couldn't even like. I feel like I could live 1,000 lives.
Yep,
I would never get
sure.
to all of them. Yeah, but it's like even that still we honor that time, So maybe you're not honoring that time. That's like a more personal thing. You have to look into like your energy levels, like how much you're getting out there. Are you working out? Are you eating well? These things like in your body and your mind. Are you vitamin D3 deficient? Funny enough, like that small thing was actually a huge thing for my mood. I was having a lot of like depressive mood swings where I'm like, fuck, I have no reason to feel sad, but I just don't feel good. And I started taking like 4,000, 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 a day. And I haven't had that since.
No.
Like shit like that. Yeah.
So Devin,
Matters.
Here's a hard question that I think we can use to help a lot of people.
Mhm.
Someone asked me, as leaders, can we talk about firing? And he wants help with it, or she, I don't know. It looks like he wants help with it because he wants to know more about how he can fire somebody if he has to. But where this would be interesting for everyone is if we talk about how we fire, there's a lesson in how not to be that person, right? How not to be the fired person.
Was the message they wrote, how do you guys approach having to consider firing someone?
No, of course. Well, it said, enjoying the topic. If you guys have time, I'd like both of your guys' input on how you guys approach firing. I myself am also in a leadership hiring role.
Okay, so what they asked, I think that was the same person that asked me.
Okay.
And the keyword is consider firing. What that means to me is that that's so most people, I wonder if you agree with this. I think most people that are leaders, they spend way too long waiting to fire someone. And like typically that person will hover around for like 6 to 8 months, providing zero value. Before they finally get up the nerve to be like, fuck. Like, if you're already considering firing this person, you probably should.
Yeah. So throughout my career, I was taught a lesson. I'm going to say the same thing. And now everybody's going to think managers are dicks again. If you're thinking about firing someone, you're already 3 months too late. And by the way, I've shortened my time, and somehow I'm magically still 3 months too late. Like, by the time you start thinking like, oh, so why do managers feel that? Because firing someone is A, emotionally hard. B, is a way of admitting your own failure, which we don't like to do. Nobody does. And C, means I have a new problem because I have to both manage this person out, which is the polite words we use. I'm managing them out. And I have to now go hire them. So I have to deal with the fact they're going to be gone. And I have to go hire a new person and train a new person to do the job. So when you reach the decision that you might have to fire, you suddenly are admitting to like 4 problems at least. Let me list them. 1, I'm going to have to go through this process and have this ugly conversation, maybe get HR involved, maybe get legal involved, maybe get sued, maybe run a PIP, all this horrible process, both human and paperwork. Number 2, I have to admit I made a mistake. Yeah. If I hired you. And sometimes at a small company, it's always you that hired them. Sometimes someone's transferred under me. But anyway, I have to deal with the fact there's a mistake been made, which is you don't fit this job, in my estimation. Or I led you wrong. Whatever it is, there's a problem. So that's problem 2. Problem 3 is now I have to do your job while you're gone, right? So when I fire you, like that work's not getting done. So I and my team have to cover. And problem 4 is I have to find someone new who's better.
Replace your job. Yeah.
And so I go from 0, like if you're doing your job, so I have 4 reasons to give you every possible chance. Because once I flip that switch that I have to act, I suddenly have 4 problems. And I don't want problems. So you pretty much, like, if you're doing okay, I'm going to roll with it a really long time before I go to that. So now, we said when you consider, if it's on your mind, get moving. And the real thing is, look, is this person, here's how you decide if you need to dismiss or not. There's only 2 reasons. One is the person cannot do the work. So they are not delivering the work that they were hired and paid to do. So I'm paying for value and I'm not getting it. Well, what do you do? Like if whatever, you order something from a company and it doesn't come, you ask for a refund. Well, I ordered something. It's from the company of you, Joe Smith, and you didn't deliver. So I want a refund. And the way I get my refund is to get rid of you. Now, the other reason is maybe you are delivering what I asked for, but you're also delivering it with a heaping helping of toxic attitude of some sort. Mm-hmm. So you're always complaining, or you're always fighting with another employee, or, whatever. I don't want to get into it, but we have some people who are sexist or racist or, bad stuff. But basically, you're either not doing your job or you're making something else too difficult to make it worse, not worth it. So remember, having a job is your benefit is worth what I'm paying. So if your benefit falls, that's you not doing the job. If the cost becomes the money I pay you plus the pain in the ass you are, then the cost goes up.
Well, I'm sorry.
Right. So at some point, the way you get in the possible way of getting let go is either your amount of value falls or your pain in the assness rises. Those are the 2 ways.
Ideally, you're actually producing a multiplier,
right? Yeah, of course.
So you should. So like employers are typically looking for like a 5 to 10x value on you.
Yep.
So like if I'm paying you $50K a year, or if I'm paying you $100K a year, you should be making the company like $500,000 a year.
Yep.
So what Ethan said is like, if I'm paying you $100K a year and you're making the company $100K a year, then you better not be pissing me off. Because if you're causing me any other problems or things like that,
I'm losing money on it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm losing emotional energy. And like if you're losing money from me, right? Like then it's like, all right, we're going ham. And yeah, that's the way to think about it. So a lot of like, and by the way, like this, like I think the way that Ethan said it was like really good, where you kind of have like again, emotional bank account, and you have like a value bank account. If you're providing a shit ton of value and you're a dickhead, like usually you get away with that. Like that's actually how I live my life, right? Like
sad but true, right?
Yeah,
there's a joke that like the hardest thing to fire on earth is a salesperson who's making quota.
For sure,
because a salesperson who's making their quota is bringing in money, and money talks, and they will get fired if they're doing something illegal, basically. Mm-hmm. But if they're just unpleasant, they will get an awful lot of rope. Now, I don't recommend
ideally
being a successful salesperson so you can be unpleasant, but it definitely happens.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time I will be very I would say terse and abrasive because I know I am providing value. So there are several different conversations I will have with people where I'm like, look, I don't want to waste my time with this shit. Like, we need to get a deal done. It's going to provide value for both sides. Let's fucking go. And if you don't want to, and if you don't like it, just walk. I don't give a fuck. And then like people will be like, okay, like either they'll acknowledge that or not, and that's okay. And look, there's a lot of different ways to do business, but the point is like, I'm usually very, very fast and very, very like scrappy and abrasive, because I'm absolutely certain that I'm providing value. If I'm not certain I'm providing value, though, I will also go to a person and I will say, look, I don't think I'm adding much to you. And I don't think, like, I can't tell you how many consulting jobs that I've turned down. People are offering to pay me $500 an hour. And I'm like, listen, I just can't, I can't provide you value. You're never going to get an ROI from this. I can't. And like, they're like, no, like, I want to, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Right. So it goes both ways. Yeah. That like, if you want to be abrasive, then you've got to do it in a sense that people can trust what you say, and that you don't have any ulterior motives or ego or other shit like that.
Yeah, I have absolutely told people, occasionally people approach me and they want like a custom private resume review where I don't do it on stream, or they want career advice. And there was a guy who really wanted my advice, and I told him, like, I don't think my advice is worth the money you're willing to pay me for, like my rack rate. I don't think it's worth it. But he really wanted it. And so I had warned him, and I'm like, well, okay, I will give you the best advice I can and take your money. But I was super like open with him, like, I'm not sure you're going to get value out of this. And the reason The reason to do that is so when you tell people they are going to get value, it's true.
Exactly.
And
Well
so
said.
Going back to the topic though of needing to dismiss someone, the advice I want to give people is if your boss ever comes to you with a performance problem, recognize that that is the first step of them wondering, maybe I have an issue here. So if you do work in a company and someone comes to you with a performance problem, you need to address it fairly quickly. I used to say as a VP, it's a courtesy if my boss tells me that my performance isn't good enough, because as a vice president, I can just be let go any day at any time for any reason. And that's true, certainly, in any leadership position, you're an at-will employee. And so nobody owes you feedback. So if you get feedback, as a leader, you've got to act on it really quickly. Well, I would recommend this for everyone. The point being, if your boss comes to you with a complaint, you've got to decide very quickly, what am I going to do about this? Because that means they have in their head that your value is decreasing and that your cost is going up. And you've got to figure out how you're going to address that. You can feel, okay, everybody always wants to tell me about their damn feelings. You can feel it's unjust and your boss is a dick and unreasonable and blah, 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 blah. Go cry in your pillow. But then you have to address the fact that that is their perception and therefore it is their reality. And whether you like it or not, they are the one making the decision. And so you have to address the substance of that concern and eliminate it, or you have to get ready to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like if you can find another job and you're sure your boss is a tool, people ask me this all the time, great, leave. But usually you have an area you can grow, sorry to say, because none of us is perfect. And so you need to listen to that feedback and ask yourself, why am I being perceived as that? So if they say like, you don't seem to work well with the design group. Well, ask yourself, why is that? Why is it that I'm perceived this way? And if you're like Devin, and I go to Devin and I say, you know, Devin, sometimes you're abrasive. Devin's not going to be like, gee, that can't possibly be true. He may reflect on it and decide, you know, my strategy is I'm going to go ahead and be short and abrasive because I know I add so much value that I'm maximizing my time. And so I'm going to tell my boss, you know, I am abrasive. And I think you should be okay with that because I'm going to deliver so much value because I'm going to save time and speed. However, is there someone particularly important I'm pissing off that you need me to spend 5 minutes extra to be nice to? Because I can waste 5 minutes of valuable money-making time to get you peace if that's what you need. And actually, my boss at Amazon has told people that. He got assigned some bullshit work early in his career at Amazon. This is going way back. And it was a very senior person who asked him basically to make a report. And he wrote the guy back and he said, here are my priorities. Like blah, blah, blah. I'm making a ton of money for the company. So I'm not going to write. If you'd like me to stop one of these to write your report, let me know. And he sent it back to him and never heard about the report again.
Man, that's massive dick energy. That's
it was.
insane.
It was.
Holy
But he was
shit.
He was. He tells the story with pride. He sent this guy. You know, he sent the guy a note that said like, I'm over here making money. And if you want me to stop making money to write this report, I will. But I don't think you want that. But he was making enough money that the guy knew it, right? So
Yeah. And he could demonstrate that value.
yeah.
There's a lot here. I like, and that said, like, I'm really glad that Ethan brought that up with because like for all the confidence that I might portray, if Ethan called me up like legit and said, yo, like as your friend, I think there's some like character stuff that you could improve. I would surrender immediately and just be like, dude, like, how do I would go all that. I would drop everything. Right. Because like those teaching moments of ownership, I think that some people are saying, oh, did the last 10 minutes apply to me because maybe I'll never have to fire someone. But all y'all have somebody in your life that's a negative influence on you and you know who they are and you haven't fired them yet. They might be a friend. They might be an acquaintance that's weighing you down. Might even be a family member. Might be something like that. Right. And that's something you can think about.
Yeah. By the way, firing, everybody thinks like, again, bosses get a horrible reputation. And everybody thinks that the boss is like hanging out like, who can I fire this week? I'm going to show how powerful I am and fire somebody. Firing can be really good for both people. In other words, very rarely, almost never, is the person who's getting let go super happy in the job. Like
Oh yeah, that's so
they know
true.
they're well, and
Usually they hate
I
it.
don't know if Devin can talk about this. 6 months ago, 9 months ago, he had to let a couple people go, and
What
from
was
Nerd
that?
Fusion,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh yeah. That. Yeah, you're right.
It's I don't
Mm,
know. Like I don't want to break
mm.
you into jail, but I don't think either of those people were like coming to work every day like I'm so valuable. I am killing it here, and this is a great. Who knows? Maybe I'm speculating out of
I
jail.
definitely had a lot of times at CLG where like when I actually genuinely let someone go, they were at way beyond the point of
They want it out.
fixing. Yeah, sadly though, I think with a lot of the people that I've let go that I'm recalling right now, they were actually like pretty passionate about the company, and they just had other problems like work ethic problems or like showing up to the office or things like that. Like after so many warnings and
But
stuff
they
like that,
know.
like
Yeah,
but they know what they're doing.
they're. I mean,
Yeah,
how
they know what they're
passionate
doing.
about the
Mhm.
company can you be? Oh, I'm passionate, but I can't be bothered to come into work.
You're right. Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
like they envision. In the end. And by the way, I've essentially been fired twice in my life. Like, I don't want to say like I've walked both sides of this, and I got fired both times, by the way, for what Devin talks about: abrasive with a big mouth. And so I had to learn. I had to learn to dial it down. Right? I had to learn that like, hey, being super critical of others and like wasn't real helpful. I was providing criticism, not solutions, and so I was expendable.
People don't see it, dude, but Ethan's actually a fucking assassin, man. Like, there are stories of like people that I know that know Ethan just professionally, and they're like terrified of this guy. Like, he's like the dark, he's like Sauron. Like, he's like he's just got the big smiling face, but man, like when he gets professional, he's real shit. It's good. Mm,
Well, when people need to go, they need to go. But
mm,
many of the people I've let go, I can call up now and they'll be like, yeah, it was the right decision. Not all of them, I don't
yeah.
know, but like
Hmm.
I definitely have had people say like, yeah, I wasn't a fit, it wasn't working out. And that's not just a euphemism. What it is inertia is a real thing. And so people stay in jobs after they know it's no longer a fit because looking for a new job takes a lot of work and is scary and might be hard. And so it's easier to like kind of just stay in a job you don't really like and hope it will get better. But hope's a shitty strategy.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great like personal value to have a lot of hope or positivity, but it's a shitty strategy. And people will just hope themselves through years of time. So
Amazingly, yeah, and a lot of things can be solved also through confrontation. There's an incredible book about this that Ethan and I talk about all the time, which is by Jocko Willink. It's called Extreme Ownership, and I
yeah.
think this is one of the best books on leadership ever written. And a lot of it has to do with taking the time to confront people, to like which includes bosses at some point. And when I say confront, I don't mean like be a dick about it, but be like having that ability to say, hey, I feel like there's a little bit of tension between us. I feel like stuff hasn't been ideal. I want to fix it. I'm passionate about this, and maybe you could tell me where I could improve, and I can come back to you in a couple of weeks to show you how I could do it. And I know this might be a hard conversation for us to have, but if you're willing to have it, I would love to do it so that we could put this behind us. And shit, man, I got in a fight with a dude a couple weeks ago, just about something really dumb, and like had that conversation immediately, and we're like hugged it out, and like you can like go back to being super super cool, really fast if you just like what Ethan said is so true. People will hold on to that anxiety for years, sometimes
Yeah.
months, definitely, if which could be solved completely, and you could be on point with that person, like one difficult conversation, but you have so much anxiety about it. And then, by the way, if it doesn't work and the guy's like, fuck you, well, then you're where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say, and I had to do this at work many times. I'll share an example though. Get really good at apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
And by apologizing, by the way, I don't mean wheedling. I mean truly apologizing. And the elements of an apology are state specifically what you did to give offense, say you're sorry, ask forgiveness, make no excuses. Don't it's not a real apology when you say like, oh well, I'm sorry I was late. You know, my wife called or whatever.
Or like the "I'm sorry, you're such an asshole" type of
Yeah,
things.
I'm
Like yeah,
sorry. You're
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
that kind of thing.
uh, but like a place where I had to eat tons of crow, not tons, but I just did something wrong.
Hmm.
This is many, many years ago. I went to a meeting at Amazon, and it was like an all hands meeting, like a big bunch of people in a conference room. And they had like chips and dip set up at the back of the room as a snack. And I was hangry. I was starving. And I went to like grab some of the chips, and the assistant who was responsible for the meeting said, "Oh, those are for after the meeting. Like, you know, don't have any right now. They're for after." And I was like, "Well, that's really dumb," or something. You know, like I said something mean, basically, like, "Wow, who came up with that bad idea?" Or, you know. Um, well, the point is, I basically took out, and I was not a vice president at the time, but that has nothing. That means nothing. I was still a leader. I took out my hanger on this poor woman who was following directions she'd been asked to do. So, and no, I did not. Somebody hears, did I still eat the chips? I did not eat the chips. The point is, I went through the meeting though, and I sat there and realized like I was just a complete asshole. So I went back and found her at her desk, and I said, look, I want to apologize for my behavior earlier this morning. I have no excuse for it. It was wrong, and I'm sorry. And I'd like to have your forgiveness if you can offer it. But the point is, I didn't justify it. I just said, look, I was completely out of line, and I'm very sorry. And, you know, she was fine from there. But get good at apologizing, because that could have haunted her, haunted me, where I felt bad about it. She was in a position where maybe she could have told her boss all the time what an a-hole I was, and that would have hurt me. But it wasn't about avoiding the hurt. It was so easy. It took me less than a minute to go say I'm sorry. And, you know, that is super powerful. And people hold on to these things and let things fester. So,
And what Ethan said, I think that is most important is you take ownership, you apologize, and then you leave it. Right? Like there's no shit sandwich. There's nothing afterward where you're like, and if I had just had a little bit more time, or if I had just like, if you had been a little bit more clear, like don't add anything like that. Just like take total ownership of the thing and then leave it and let them have it, and you're done. And I have a cool story about this actually that happened really recently. This is a story. Sometimes I think it's really valuable to just take ownership for things that aren't even necessarily like problems, but just things that you identify and just tell. So in my case, my equal in this company is Matt, right? He's the CEO. I'm the C other O. Like, but we're 50-50, just whatever. And one of the things that I realized over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks is I've been doing a lot of sales calls. It's actually really cool because I can really rarely tell stories about like what I'm doing right now, but in this case I can, because it's like it just fits. So I'm doing a lot of sales calls. And sales calls mean like I'm establishing relationships for Nerd Fusion, and we're doing like brand calls and things like that. And one of the things I noticed is that I am like really lagging through sales calls. I was like looking at like the time that it takes to get a deal discussed, to be contracted and on the ground and executed. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's like from the time that I've negotiated this deal, like started that conversation, it's been like in one of these particular cases that I'm going through right now, it's been like over a month. And you have to consider that if you've got a deal sitting that long, that's lost value, right? Because you could be engaging someone else or whatnot. And the lesson that I learned was I just need to be super scrappy. So I sold a deal yesterday for $150,000 in one afternoon. And the way that I did it was I changed my mindset on this by literally just being like, okay, here is what we did a phone call. We both knew the thing we wanted. And I was like, I'm just going to send you a short notepad of deliverables and like how this would look and what it would look like. He's like, sure. Yeah, let's do it. And I said, let's get something done by Thursday and just be scrappy with it. Right. And I went to Matt and I told him, I was like, dude, I posted like a fucking wall of text in Discord. In fact, like, I wonder if I could like, I'll read some of it to you. I think this is like really productive. And like, Let's see. So, all right, because okay. Oh, I'm just gonna read you what I wrote because I think this is really valuable, and I'll leave out stuff that's kind of secret. Ethan, hopefully this is productive.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's super interesting.
So this is yesterday, 5:45 p.m. I've been making mistakes with sales. The way that, by the way, this is unprompted. He never talked to me about this. This is just nothing. I just wrote this to him. I've been making mistakes with sales. The way I do calls and takes thing, I'm looking for very high valued ideal deals when I should just seriously set a deadline and move and close. Like you said a week ago or two when we were talking, time and negotiation is lost value. I'm getting mired up in a ton of bullshit, but this is a huge teaching moment for me for what it's worth. I will not make these mistakes with delegation and deal flow again. I just need to be scrappy, all caps. Call, talk, deliverables, and Twitter DM. Agree. If nothing, pressures every day. Contract close and move on. Then I can focus on campaign culture and talent after selling. Subjectively, I understand the mindset and talk. You set up expectations at the beginning. We want to move quick, look for XYZ. Mired up in emails, calls, logistics is nonsense. Another weakness is outbound because with greater outbound, we can have leverage. I'm just like talking about the company. Anyway, I say some more, but I fucked it up and I did exactly what I didn't want to do. We onboarded some talent, but I wasn't really willing to deliver with them immediately. A lot of stuff, but important thoughts. I think this will affect our inbound positively. And he responded, he's like, this is fucking great. Like, I love that it's in high gear. It's fucking awesome. And I even said, sorry, wall of text, but this is important to me. So that's like a literal, like yesterday example of me being like, fuck, I could have done better in sales calls. And this is how I could have done it unprompted. And like that increases the equity and value of our relationship with my partner.
Yeah. So Amazon calls this, we actually have a name for it. We call it vocally self-critical, which is being able to be clear about where you're not doing, haven't done, or are doing as good as you could or as good as you should. And the actual thing is, it also says leaders do not think their team's body odor smells of perfume. Right? Like,
it's like a haiku or something.
Yeah.
Some
well,
Ghost of Tsushima shit.
Yeah. But it's literally, be aware if you're leading a team, your team is not perfect and they screw other people over some of the time because, they're busy or because whatever. But just, I'll shorten it down, right? My wife got a t-shirt she wears whenever she feels people aren't doing it. It simply says, own your shit. Just own it. Own your shit. Own it. Like, it's mostly aimed at our kids sometimes. Like, if you didn't do the dishes and you were supposed to, you didn't mow the lawn, don't excuse it up. Just own it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't do that. I'll do it now. Solved. But story of the month, story of the week, or as sometimes it turns out, story of the hour, no one respects that. Just own it.
And every single minute is another opportunity, because sometimes I'll be in like my girlfriend will be like, she'll say something like, and not that she's critical, she's really nice, but she'll say something like, what, I can't remember, we were talking in bed the other night, fuck, what was it? It was something like I did it early in the relationship that was I forget what it was. It was something I did that was really dumb. I said some stuff. I said something really stupid about I made a comment about her, and it was something about how we have conversations. And it was a really dumb comment. And I didn't, and I start making excuses about it. And I'm like, well, I didn't mean it that way. And then finally, I was like, wait, I have the opportunity to change this right there. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I fucked it up. It's all on me. That was a dumbass thing to say. I'm not going to fucking do it again. You are right. And I just I switched it because I had so much ego about it. Right. And I'm I didn't want to and I just fucking went there, you have that opportunity to switch that every possible minute. Even if you're already in the process of fucking shit up, you could just be okay, you know what? You're actually fucking right. This is a dumbass excuse. This is fucking stupid of fucking me to say, you're actually right. I'm fucking up. I'm sorry. You always have that opportunity. And then there it is. Right. Tension gone. Right. Yeah.
Owning stuff. Yeah. So people are quoting extreme ownership again. The thing is, a lot of this doesn't require extreme ownership. It requires basic ownership.
Yeah.
The SEALs guys, they're yes, extreme ownership. I led 12 men into the valley of death. We were surrounded by enemy and cut off from our communication. Holy shit. Yeah, great. Most of us don't have to do that. It's Yeah, I forgot to send that email. Damn, I am so sorry. I will get on that right now and then do it. And then try not to forget the next time. And if you are a forgetful person, like set a reminder. This is not, Extreme Ownership is a fabulous book, but so many people fail at like basic responsibility, which by the way, when it comes to like holding a job, I talk about this. I have a stream. You can go find it on my YouTube. It's called Do the Basic Stuff Right. I think I may call it Do the Basic Shit Right. Basically, show up for work, actually work. Don't spend the whole time. I mean, watch Devin and watch me, but other than that, don't get sucked into Twitch streams. Do your job, provide some value, show up the next day. Don't be a total tool to your coworkers. It's not that hard to hold a job.
It's simple but not easy.
It's simple
one of
but
my
not easy.
favorite things to say.
Yeah. And then, I talk about this thing called the magic loop, like the way to improve at a job. But we won't even go there. Just do the basics right. Show up and do some work. Because I do run into people, they're rare at Amazon, but I do have people in chat. Their honest goal is to try and collect a salary while doing nothing. And for as long as they can. And then they wonder why they're not happy at work and why their boss is kind of down on them. Like that's kind of bad. So anyway.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've had to escort our first idiot troll out. So that's good. We went 3 hours. We went 3 hours and we had to escort out someone who.
I've banned like 35 people this stream. Eventually you'll just get to the point where.
I may have missed some when they went by, but we're the people of second chances, and
I'm not.
Someone's like using second and third chances, and then they get a chance to leave.
Second chance is first loser, baby. Get the fuck out of my stream. Boom.
Yeah. So, well, we normally have great people. I mean, it's a stream on how to have a career, right? So most people are here to learn. In my case.
I love your patience for people.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where, like, I don't know. I hope that I have as much faith in humanity as you have when I'm, like when I get there, because like I feel like enough Twitch streaming will suck that out of anyone.
Actually, my community, a lot of streamers do say their community is super supportive. My community. And yours, Devin. I'm always arguing with you about the quality of your community. As you know, I'm a bigger advocate for you than you are sometimes. They're inspiring to me. There's all these hardworking people. They're trying to learn. They're trying to improve themselves. They're often super smart, very well connected, working hard on education or jobs or whatever and trying to learn. And yeah, we get the occasional idiot who, is in and wants to make dick jokes or spam emotes because they have nothing to say or be critical of everything that is said. And, even most of them are smart enough to shut up with a warning or they just drift on to somewhere else. But then there's one or two people who are like, you contradicted me. I must fight with you. I will fight with you in chat and tell you, oh, it's not me, it's you. And whatever.
It took me a lot of practice and I still fuck it up sometimes to like when you can get mired into a conversation with a single person and it's a nightmare scenario because like your whole stream doesn't want it. You don't want it. Like they don't want it. No one wants it. It's a really interesting thing about entertainment. And like a lot of the, like I have sometimes where I ban a long-term sub and it's always like an email conversation back and forth. And the conversation always goes to like, dude, I'm running a show, right? I can't get mired up in like some fucking like dogfight with you because I'm gonna like this is a show for a lot of people that are trying to get informational and entertainment value. And it's hard. It's hard. Like you'll get to the point where here's the thing, right? Your community gets exponentially worse the larger it gets, like invariably. So if you had 10K viewers, you just have because like actually Tim Ferriss described this in a really good way, where it's like you have to equate your audience to the to the size of towns and cities. So like if you have a couple hundred viewers, you're in a small town, there's like one village idiot that waves his dick at traffic. right? And like you just kind of escort them out or whatever. You know, Ethan can't deal with me, dude. Like,
No, it's true.
You know what I
it's
mean?
true.
Like,
No,
yeah.
I grew up in a small town with the village idiot, so I get it.
But if you're in, hang on, I gotta like time this guy out for 24 hours that said Caldari is not is corporate scum. Okay, thank you. That was a. All right, you're coming back tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eve Online thing.
Yeah, no, I knew
yeah.
the Eve reference. I know you.
Yeah. Sorry, a Mimitar, a rebel found their way into my chat. Okay. But anyway, so in your small town, you got to like escort the village idiot out. Okay. But once you get to the point where you're the size of like, if you're like 10,000 people, you're like downtown San Francisco, right? How many fucking people are wandering around there with like buckets on their head, like, oh! You know, like there's a fucking shit ton of people, right? So at some point, your community gets to the point where like, you are just like having to deal with so many people that like you just, and like I'm at the point of like suburb, right? Like kind of like Redmond. And there's a lot of dummies that like sit in the park that are like in Redmond, and I just have to like
a huge difference is in the small town. It's not only people know each other, but also like people are in that small town by choice, kind of like when they come to. The point is, big streams attract whoever drifted into Twitch and saw it at the top of the list and clicked on like, what's this? Because for my job, we do big events. And so we have people come in who are like, what the hell is this? And then they just like, oh, I'm not enjoying this. So the only social skill I have is to bag on whatever is happening. So yeah, we have to ban the hell out of people because they drift into something. They're like in the big city, they're attracted to the stage and the noise. And then they're like, well, I don't like this song, so maybe I'll throw Molotovs. And you have to get rid of them.
I'll never forget when we did that Amazon stream together for
Dr. Yellow, that one?
No.
Oh,
we did the one for the one at the studio for New World. And one of the Amazon mods banned somebody for saying butts. And I was like, these guys are fucking hardcore. Like, that's insane. It's like, because then what did I do that like really got the whole mod team up in it?
You started talking about poop socking. Is this game going to be good enough that I have to poop sock? I remember this very clearly. I asked the lead developer of New World if it would be a good enough game to poop sock on. And he's like, what is poop socking? Then we had to cut to advertisement. Yeah. By the way, I haven't been invited back. What's going on, Ethan? No, there's no. It's COVID. You're done. That's why. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't talk about it. I'll just say, putting on an event now where like you want to have a control room with several people in it is a nightmare.
Oh my God.
Like you want to do a stream and you need like 3 people in a control room. Like you have to have a control room the size of a football field and put one on each end zone and one in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's because there are things that still require, you could, like most streaming can be done virtually, but you still need, if you're putting on an event, you still need someone at a mixing panel, and sometimes they need help, and like it's a nightmare. So we've managed to figure it out, but it's really interesting. I do some work, for my actual job. We produce what amounts to some gamer TV, and so I talk to a lot of Hollywood folks. And they are so screwed trying to figure out how to like film shows, because film show, you normally like put a bunch of people in a soundstage and group them all together. Like, how do you shoot an episode of TV right now? Like the crew plus the actors, you can't get them together. And so basically TV is just dead at the moment. TV and movies. I heard Tenet, Christopher Nolan's new movie, was delayed indefinitely, which made me unbelievably sad because that's like my favorite all-time director by a huge margin. Yeah, it must be really difficult, really crazy, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's Hollywood's. They're struggling to figure it out. And of course, Southern California has the COVID big time right now. So everyone
has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone. America first, right? We're number one. We're number one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these places that like, it's funny trying to remember that Italy was the center of the second wave of the China, then Italy. Italy now has like, both Devin and I live in Washington State in the U.S. and Italy has like 1/4 to 1/6 the cases per day of Washington State, and it's like 8 times our size for people. So anyway,
100%.
I'm off on
pretty
a
crazy.
yeah. Well, hey man, I have a swimming pool waiting for me. It's got my name on it outside. It's nice
Dude,
and
it's
warm.
such a nice day. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So, uh,
I feel that.
my mods are telling me I have unanswered questions. Can
Okay.
I do this thing where I speed run questions. Do you want to have some fun for a minute? What
Fuck
we
yeah,
do is
yeah.
like we try and clip them off like 30 seconds a piece. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We'll do a few. The reading time doesn't count. Devin will go and then I'll go. Do you think you have to settle with a crappy job right now during its scarcity, or is it smarter to wait if possible and educate yourself for something new? So take a crappy job or try and get something better with more education. Go, Devin.
Holy shit, the answer is I don't know, but I think it depends on your independent financial situation. That if you are in a point of time where you really need that money and you're fucked if you don't have it, which a lot of people are, you may have to consider it. I think that's the answer.
Yeah, so I largely agree, but an either or is also read the book Decisive, which will teach you not to do either ors. Take the job and educate yourself. Yes, that will take more work, but you don't have to either or all this stuff. Sometimes there's a both. So I would say shoot for the both. Otherwise, if you're broke, take the job and be happy. And if you are good, educate. Okay, what separates a good executive from a great executive? Devin, go.
Absolutely good execution of so two things real quick. The first thing is, what is the number one problem that is in my department or company, and how do I solve it? And thinking about that. And number two, having good time management skills. Read The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker, best book on being an executive ever made.
Wow, that was a solid answer. What separates good from great? Great is probably, look, it's decision making, right? Which is strategy, knowing what to do, and execution. So it's figuring out what is most important and then doing that thing, even if it's hard. I talk about this book, even though it's not a great book, it gets to this key point called Eat That Frog. It's about doing the hardest thing you face first thing in the morning every day, because we tend to put shit off, and procrastination will kill you. All right. This is great. This is fun. Really short question. Advice for transitioning careers. I take this to mean switching jobs. Like not switching jobs, switching what you do, going from being a developer to being a product manager, or being a bus driver to being a plumber. So advice for that, Devin.
Advice for switching jobs.
Yeah, you want to switch careers. You're doing this one thing, but you want to learn to do something in a different field, or you want to get a fresh start in a different field.
Taking a course is actually a really underrated thing, like Skillshare, or taking like a paid course of some kind is actually really underrated. A lot of people think that they're scams, but there's a lot of legitimate ones. That is probably where I would start. And then the second one is like really stereotypical advice for the time we have, but finding a mentor in that field with the aforementioned techniques that Ethan and I talked about in the beginning of this stream.
Okay, and for my chat, look, you guys got to vote on some of these. We're not going to do every question with low votes, so if you don't vote, we'll wrap up. All right, but this is fun. The speed round's always fun. This one's good. I am a university student who is looking for internship opportunities but lack real connections. By this, I mean I have no strong references. I have strong references but no real connections. Are students like myself screwed, or do we just have to get lucky? I'm going to save this one and say rewind the tape and see earlier about networking.
We answered that.
Yeah, we answered that. So moving on, this is the one I wanted to get to. I have a very safe job, but it's super boring. It's my first job after college, and I'm only 6 months in. Do you think switching now would hurt my career? So I have a safe job. It's super boring. I've only been at it 6 months. Switch or stay? Devin.
I don't know enough about that person. I would say your decision should be made on the amount of long-term value for your career that you feel like that job can provide you. If you feel like it has a lot of upward momentum and a lot of potential to look good on a resume after you've worked there for a year and a half, you may want to consider it. If you feel like it's not going to do anything for you and that value isn't there, you might want to move if you're able to.
Yeah, I would say if you're only 6 months in, try and make it more interesting. Like I have this thing called the magic loop, which I've done videos on. You can see I talk about all the time about how to grow your job. I would try to avoid, and I just put it in my chat, I would try to avoid punching out so quickly. if you have to, that's life. Or if you can find an amazing job, it will not damage you, but it's better to learn how to grow in a job because that's a skill you can then apply later. Like, what if you have a good job and you haven't learned that? So, all right.
As a quick addition to that, you can
Yeah.
also always engage with your boss and with your employers and say, hey, I'm not feeling it. Like, how do I make this more interesting? Are there some interesting challenges that you're thinking about, problems that you want to solve, right? Those are other possibilities, is to have this conversation with people in your company and get them involved.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's actually part of what I call the magic loop, which is talk to your boss. Say, how can I add value? What do you have that's more challenging? What can I do? What can I do that will add more value? Any of these questions, have an actual conversation. All right.
Yeah.
What does the new job market look like for grads in software engineering right now? I'll answer this one, save Devin the time. There's always infinite demand for more technology people. And in fact, I would argue that many companies that don't think of themselves as tech companies or didn't now need tech help because they're realizing, oh, we need to sell online through distance. We need a better website. We need better e-commerce. We need better virtual products. So, Devin, I don't know if you want to add to that, but I think actually
You're the expert. Yeah.
Yeah, being a software engineer, this is a great chance. This one's weird. Any stories of blackballing for applicants accepting offers then reneging? So does a applicant? Oh, do people get blackballed if they accept a job and then back out? I have done this one time in my career. We had a guy at Amazon that we offered a job. He declined. We went back to him. He came back to us a year later, asked for a job again. We offered him a job again. He declined again. And we're like, two's enough. Like, you've come to us twice asking for jobs, and then we've offered you. You've said no. Pretty much we're good with you. So I don't know if you consider that blackballing, but that's, by the way, that's out of like 2,500 people I've talked to. So one time it does happen, but you've got to like really screw someone pretty hard a couple times. That's my opinion. Any opinion on that, Devin?
No.
Okay.
Never something I've had to deal with.
Okay.
Everyone that wants to work here wants to work here. Yeah.
How do I make myself more visible to recruiters while applying for jobs? Any ways that stand out? And then there's some context given.
To actual headhunters?
Doesn't say.
When he says recruiters, I
recruiters,
assume.
yeah. He could
I don't know
mean
the answer to
headhunter.
that question.
Go ahead.
No, I don't know it.
Oh,
yeah,
my
I don't
answer
know.
would be
Yeah.
try and avoid the recruiter and find the hiring manager. Right? That's step one. And so try and go around. Recruiters, look, I've had recruiters on my show. I've had them here to talk to you. You can actually watch a great headhunter. His name's Boris Epstein, who runs a recruiting agency, talk about how to get jobs. With that said, as much as I like Boris and I use people like Boris, you actually want to go around him if you can. You want to go straight to the hiring manager if you can. Now, if you need to work with the recruiter, you want to build a relationship with them. The key is you want to get through the work layer and get people actually invested or interested in you as a human being because you're unique in some way. You want them to connect to you emotionally, connect to you personally. And so the way to make yourself more visible to recruiters is give them something, talk to them about a unique value you have. So anyway, you can get a lot of value through somebody in my chat saying recruiters suck, avoid them as much as possible. It's generally more effective to go to the hiring manager. However, a good recruiter, if you can make a unique connection to them by getting them interested in you or breaking out of their usual mold, will help you. And the easiest thing, if you wanted to ask a recruiter a killer question, you would talk to a headhunter or and say, look, I know that you get paid for placing people. I believe I'm highly qualified for the right job. What makes me easy for you to place? What is the thing I can do to make your job the easiest? Because everybody wants their job made easy. So,
well said. Yeah.
That's marketing, right? You want your job made easy. All right. Let's see.
Everything is marketing, Ethan.
Yeah, I agree. You've taught me that. You're part of actually, someone tried to teach me that practically before you were born. I've told you I've told you the story of the Nunion, right? Like the stupid metal bar that removes onion smell from your hands.
No.
All right. There's this product. There's this product you can go find on Amazon. It's still available to this day called the Nunion, and it will market itself. It's like $8.99, and it's been that price for like forever. But my college roommate was the first marketing guy for it. And it turns out the Nunion is just stainless steel. Stainless steel acts as a catalyst to separate oil from skin. So you can take if you have like onion smell or garlic smell on your fingers, you can run the water and rub your fingers with a spoon, and the chromium atoms in the stainless steel will cut the bond between the smelly stuff in your skin.
What the fuck?
Totally true. So, but you can't sell people the knowledge of using a spoon to wash their hands and like rubbing the spoon over the smelly spots on their hands where they were holding the garlic or the fish or whatever. So what you can do instead, though, is you can sell them a bar that's shaped, a piece of stainless steel that's shaped like a bar of soap, and call it a Nunion and call it a special steel alloy. And so that's what they did, and their marketing is their product, right? It's complete BS.
This is one of the coolest stories you've ever told me.
Yeah, no.
This is actually insane.
It's just, so the Nunion, which I'll grab the link here real quick, or maybe one of my mods can do it because it's on Amazon, and stick it in chat. It's the dumbest product, and it's essentially, I would call it a scam, except it's not really a scam in that it works. So yeah, someone posted it in chat, but we auto deleted the link, so one of the mods can repost it. Anyway, yeah, it's completely.
That's incredible.
There you go.
It really is.
So they're selling you the knowledge. They're selling you the knowledge in the form of a $9 metal bar.
This Amazon review. I do not know the scientific principles that make this work, but it does.
And I've told you the scientific principles, but the fact is, that thing has been selling. My roommate started selling it in 92 or 93. And like, he later went on to other stuff, but that bar has been selling now for the same price for 30 years.
Oh, yeah. There's only 10 left in stock, man. They're still selling these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane.
Well, they probably can't get any more because they used to get them made in China. Oh. I know he got them made for 28 cents a piece back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And you want to talk about a job you'd love, right? He was like the everything guy. So he's not only negotiating with the Chinese supplier, like trying to squeeze a penny out of the, because they get marked up, right?
Yeah.
Because he has to get them in and then package them and then resell them to, like, they used to get sold in kitchen stores and shit. So they're selling their 28-cent bar for like $2. And then, whoever, William Sonoma is marking it up to $9. So you could learn a lot. This is like
everything is marketing, man.
Everything is your marketing and your markup and your brand and your positioning.
Mm-hmm.
So,
God, that's insane, man. That I rub my hand with a spoon and I can get rid of smells. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Why does soap not act as that agent?
So this goes beyond my knowledge. What I know and remember from this, and we probably have some chemists here, something about
probably in your chat, yeah.
what makes stainless steel stainless has, I believe it's chromium is part of stainless steel, but I might have the element wrong. It acts as a catalyst to cut the bond between oils and skin. And so the interesting thing is it's never used up because catalysts aren't consumed in the reaction. They just facilitate it. So it's not like burning wood in a fire. It just, so it's super interesting. But yeah, this thing has been selling, and like you saw from whoever did the review, it works. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Is like this, people don't need to understand why something works to value it.
Only that it does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Damn, that's super cool. I never knew that.
So that was my first lesson in your marketing is your product. Because that really isn't a product at all. It's all in the marketing of saying like it does this thing and it's a special steel alloy. We're just not telling you it's the same fucking thing as your spoons.
Mm-hmm.
So your marketing is your product. Because if I tell you, hey, I have a way to get oil off your skin, will you give me $9 to tell you? No one will do it. Because if I say, oh, use a spoon, they're like, whatever. But if I sell you this thing, like that, the guy who came up with that, who was, he's been selling these things for 30 years, So,
That's so cool. Holy shit.
Uh,
Oh, someone says this why public toilets and stuff are made of this too. It naturally kills germs just by existing.
yeah,
That's
there's
really crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's so cool.
all right,
Damn.
so sweet. So I'm gonna go hit my swimming pool.
Sounds like a
We've
plan,
we've
man.
we've answered a bunch of questions. We've given a lot of value. It's been good catching up with you.
Hey, I loved this talk. I think it's been like I've gotten so many comments in chat, like enormous amount of value in it. I'm so glad you came today. Thank you so much for being
Hey,
here.
you know I
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
Devin, and I always love working with the Nash Nation. When you raid over and come to visit, it's
Of
awesome.
course.
Everybody enjoys it.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
will hit you up with some more adventures. I'll coordinate with your cave keeper to know when you're allowed to come out and play.
And I will scream and complain about them and then have a great deal of fun.
That is absolutely
and
right.
we'll continue this relationship and this
In
timeline.
its twisted way, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying harder. Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
I
let
used
me
to
know.
be able to get Devin out to go to restaurants because he does have to
That was
eat.
fucking sick too. That was really, I really missed that because we'd have those long ass conversations. We'd close the place down.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for one day we will eat again. That's
know,
my
man.
conviction. There will be the chance,
I
when
miss
we.
it.
Yeah, I do miss that very much.
There's a really
So-
solid place in downtown Seattle we should go to. It's a barbecue joint called Jack's BBQ. I really want to go to.
Yeah. Well,
Super
speaking of barbecue, you will admit I had enough when you came over for the 4th of July. We had enough food for you, did we
Yep.
not?
And I ate every rib after. Yeah, and he even gave me a bag of ribs to
That's how I brag
take
him.
back.
I send takeout.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Like ribs are like my favorite. I love them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that was a
Devin's-
fun time too. That was really good.
Devin's a meatitarian.
It's true.
So, all right. So I'll let you go, Devin. For those who want to, I don't know, Devin, are you calling it a day too, or are you going to keep on keeping on?
I have actually a couple of more cool things to do. But I'm not going to be that long. But yeah, I'm going to probably be on for another like 30.
All right. So you know where to find Devin Nash at Twitch TV/Devin Nash.
And guys, !Ethan is a persistent command in our chat, twitch.tv/Ethan Evans. He actually does two like major things on his shows. So sometimes he'll have solo shows where he talks about stuff like what we talked about today, but he also interviews high success performers and gets a lot of really cool people on the show. So this is a channel that's worth following. I think you're streaming 2 times a week right now, right?
Sometimes 2, sometimes 1.
So joining his Twitch and then going to his Discord link is a really good idea to get an idea of like when he's streaming. And they're always very high value streams. So please do toss him a follow.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is we'll raid over as soon as I talk about my next show. I'm going to have the Olympian on, so I'm super excited about that.
Yes.
I don't have him scheduled yet, but I think it'll be next Tuesday night.
Okay, if you can get me in on that, I'll come in.
All right. Well, if you will, yeah.
100%. This
right.
sounds fucking awesome. Like they'd love that shit.
All right, so I'll talk to him about it. But yeah, I've through one of the members of my chat, I've made a connection to an Olympic speed skater who won some medals, and now is he's a professional speaker, gets paid a ton, drives around the country in his new RV in COVID times doing professional speaking. So
It'll be awesome, guys.
yeah.
Like you'll really dig this. It'll be good.
he's very smart. So all right, cool. Well, here I'll just set up the raid, and I'll hang up on Zoom, and everybody will be over in a minute.
Okay, brother, take your time. Dude, this was awesome. Thank you so much. Like
Yeah. Talk to you later.
that energy. Yeah. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
See ya. All right. So it's always fun to do things with Devin. Let's get rid of my really big face there. Yep, we're out. End meeting for all. Sweet. So look, everybody, it's been a fun day. Thank you. Longer stream than usual. I appreciate everyone was here. So let's go over, and you can hang out with Devin. He's awesome. But what I would say is I do expect Tuesday at 6, hopefully, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, to have John Coyle, an Olympic medalist in speed skating on. He's taught me a couple things. They're very, very valuable. Specifically, he could have won more medals, is my interpretation, if he had trained differently. And he learned a bunch of things about how to win, but he learned them too late. And so he's going to share that with us now. And I think he's completely right about what he said, but I have some questions for him. I want to interview him because, look, here's a guy who managed to come in the medals in the Olympics. That's an extremely high achievement. And if he thinks he could have done better and he learned some things that we can apply, I'm into it. So with that, and he was introduced to us by Awesome Patel, who's here, Awesome P in chat, one of our VIPs. We're going to get him back on here, or get him on here, and he's going to share. So with that, I'm excited for that. It's been great to have you here all day on my day off. And let me set up a raid. Let's go see what's up with Devin. And I will see you all next time. Okay.